they were not going to let people bring beers. Hi. Good, how are you? Nice to meet you. Let me introduce you to Shepard, because he's been anxiously waiting. You know, and who else needs pictures? How do we get into the chronic? The chronic needs.
For those that are just joining, we're at the administration building at the county of Santa Rosa. This is a Board of Supervisors meeting, and many people have shown up. It's an action called Women in White. People are wearing white and carrying mirrors. The mirrors are to point back at the Board of Supervisors. In other words, reflecting themselves. Of course, this is a Justice for Andy Lopez action. And again, I ask everybody to check out my tweets on my timeline and find that pirate pad and get the information out of there as far as the web address and the email address and telephone numbers for the Board of Supervisors and for the Sheriff's Department. Really like you guys to just tweet the hell out of it and get all that info out there, and any other information that you might be able to scrape from the internet. Any contact information at all for any of these people, and just hammer them with emails and telephone calls. This is what we really need, because the sheriff said the other day that that the movement is fading, and we need to show him that that isn't true, and it has a worldwide following. We need to let them know that the whole world really is watching. See, there's a bunch of people inside there, and somebody just somebody in my chat just said, wonderful that you're there, Treb, and I can't read your name, so if you could type your name in caps so I can see who you are, I would appreciate it. It's coming out as a very dark blue on a black background on my end, that's why.
Well, that was me who wrote that. That was me.
Not when you wrote it. It was too fat.
Well, I know.
Oh, I know.
If you read about men having a baby,
I'm talking like seahorses. I'm talking seahorse. I said to my kids, is it dad or you? I don't think I'm not narrow.
So you can see there's many people inside already. I really don't want to go in that building until I have to, just because the connection isn't going to be the greatest, but I am going to actually try to get into the meeting. So that might be a hit and miss as far as live streaming. I just hope that I can keep the connection. Oh, I alone. Okay, thank you. That's the building that we're at, the administration building, County of Sonoma. You can see there's a bunch of people inside already. understand, yes, the people will be able to speak at the meeting. Somebody offered to save me a seat, but I think really I'm going to be standing up in a corner. I think that would be best. I'd kind of rather be able to see the entire room and see who's speaking. Yes, R.I.P. R.I.P. Andy Lopez.
Hey, behave.
So again, I really can't emphasize this enough. You guys can look on my Twitter timeline and find the pirate pad that I wrote and look at the hashtag for Sonoma Sheriff, also the telephone numbers that are there, and any emails and any other contact information that you could possibly scrape off the net, and just inundate these people with telephone calls, inundate them with tweets. They need to know that this movement isn't going away. The sheriff said the other day that the movement is fading. Can't let that happen, and we can't let anybody think that that's happening. Two people are here with mirrors. They're going to be pointing the mirrors back at the supervisors.
He's going to be arriving with Suhei, so. Yeah. He was driving up when he called. Rushing to get up and get her. No, we've been talking about that. That's an interesting point because one of the people on the coalition, her father-in-law is at Outrage, and he said, you don't
the whole world is watching.
Investigation to accelerate, and it seems like that's what they did. So I don't know if there's grounds. There's so much going on. I don't know, but I doubt it. I mean, Nicole's been down there.
Okay, looks like people are going in. I'm going to try to get in. I don't know if I'm going to be able to hold on to the connection. I might have to switch to my phone. Well, let's just hope for the best.
corner, aren't you?
Just near a window. I'm trying to maintain an internet connection because I'm live right now on live stream. So yeah, I have a Zoom lines and everything, so that's fine. I just need
Do you have enough
window.
room? Am I squishing you?
Nope, I'm fine. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much, Eidolon.
Just be careful because the back of your behind is teacher paper.
Well, you know, I'm getting people to clear all this out and telephone numbers and contact numbers and stuff. So I'm hoping, and see a lot of people watching from all over the world.
Yeah.
I'm on one channel and they really so we're trying to get people views for this kind of stuff has been very effective in the past. Like student rate and everything like that. It was only through the external pressure, like anonymous recruiting and all sorts of networking that even
I saw a couple of anonymous things on my Facebook and then they were gone. And I said to my husband, where'd they go? And he goes, well, that's how they are. They don't see down there. They don't want to get caught.
Yeah, that's often the case. Eidolon, I'm going to try to fix that. I'm going to see if I can get my hotspot out closer to the window here.
Is there a time before you slide down the Thank you.
Okay, I just dropped my hotspot.
Can you pass it in for me? I got a bad body.
I just put my hotspot right next to a window, so
Are you going to be standing here?
hopefully.
Okay, good. If something goes on, you open that door.
I'm in charge.
Thank you.
You'll be trampled.
Open the door and continue.
If I hear the ice cream man outside, I'm running, okay? Just so you know.
Okay, great. Can you take one for me?
The boy or girl?
I had $4.
If you would have said no, just give it anyway.
She would?
Yeah.
Or she'd sneak around. So I'm like, okay, let's see what you do. You know, she did. She started on that.
Well, the reality is it's probably
I know what I'm doing.
because of the actions the children put on peaceful demonstrations, and he showed me like jihad,
I've got her safety glasses on for her pink pen.
All right, that was for you.
If they say
She'll
something
figure it out.
alive,
She'll figure it
I
out.
don't like it. Really, like, stand up and speak.
What? living wage, what's that? Darius Anderson, he was a press Democrat, Center Index Tribune. He's a lobbyist for alcohol, tobacco, and public firearms. He's coming and swooping in. And he is just one big, fat, white cat in his head. He says, oh, pass this initiative, we will get a living wage. Yeah, right, dude. If I ever see him in person, he's going to get a piece of my mind. If I have any left of it today. I prayed to all those who were waiting for me.
Bryce, thanks for that feedback. Yeah, I'm inside. I've got my hotspot up on a windowsill. Not the greatest of conditions. And I'm trying to keep the camera absolutely still because the less data, the better.
Without crunching anyone. What? They call it shit kickers.
Oh yeah. Still cut?
I can't tie shoes anymore. So I just slip things on. I saw that. I didn't know anything else about maybe
You know, I have a tripod and I was going to bring it in and I forgot it in the car. But I have my monopod, so I'm fine.
We used to have sleepovers together. Oh, now that we're like I guess they're green. I was going to say the blue. She just stood there and just turned. And I looked at her and she had one of these tall guys with her on a short with her. Maybe Freedom. Was it Freedom? The number one guy?
The boy guy?
Was it Freedom? Yeah.
I think he's the one that was laughing at us.
Yeah. Well, guess what? He was there. And I was like, I was going to get ready to say hi to her. She turned her back. She made $70,000 for you.
I'm recording this to SD card actually in high def, so you know, if the stream does go down occasionally, at least you know, I'll be uploading the high def after I get home tonight. Oh, thanks, Rise, for putting me on GR, and thank you for all the channels that are streaming me and mirroring me. And again, if anybody can look at my Twitter timeline and look at the pirate pad that I've pasted, it has some contact information for the Sonoma Sheriff and also for the Board of Supervisors. If somebody maybe is feeling a little ambitious and wants to scrape the internet for some more info, it'd be really cool to light up the switchboards here, but also at the Sheriff's Department, and just light up the Twitter timeline and just let them know that this movement is not fading. The Sheriff said the other day that the movement is fading and it's costing Santa Rosa money. And I say, boo, boo.
I took my son a couple times to the memorial. My other son goes to the same school.
They're not allowed to answer. Right.
Like I mean, like in a coffee shop with my oldest daughter, and it just happened. It just we were talking about it and this woman asked him to Chris, well, how'd you like to be next? I'm the bus driver for Kate. And those kids shot
I'll say it out loud. You are a beautiful crowd. And this whole situation reminds me of a speech by Martin Luther King regarding the Promised Land. He said two words that I think apply to this crowd, and I hope that this will touch your heart, because I think it's damn well time we start. And the words that he used in that speech regarding the Promised Land, I know he said it. He said, rise up. He talked about the people rising up. So, are we ready to rise up? Because the definition of being mentally off is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. The power is with us. The power is not in us asking them. The power is completely with us. It's called a boycott and a strike until they're on their knees for as long as we please. Okay, short of the boycott and the strike, and at a certain point this afternoon, Arnaldo Casillas, the family lawyer, is here. We're going to all go with him to the clerk of the county and serve them with the amended complaint. That's about 500 yards. So at the point that we all leave... That's right, Justice Randy. That's right. Right in the mirrors, and we'll go serve the county, which means we're serving the Board of Supervisors. That's right, Justice Randy Lopez.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, well, where would all those tourist dollars go? There's our
I really apologize for the choppy screen, guys, but there's just not a damn thing I can do about it. I've got a hotspot up on a windowsill, doing everything I can. But as I said, I am recording high def at the same time, so at least later on tonight I will be uploading everything in HD. So if there's anything that was just too unwatchable, it will be available later on tonight.
me know if my fat head's in the way, okay?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
I have a 7 3/4 head. Seriously large. Seriously. I tried. Almost died. No, can't do it. Wouldn't be pretty.
Hi, Susie Q. Hi, Real.
And I used to push it, but not like that. I bet breakfast beautifully, but I don't think that. It's crazy. You pick those grapes at 4 a.m.
Your mirrors, guys.
It's the most corrupt of them all.
Not so much but for other people that are not aware, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You see what I'm saying? That's why I asked you, so if you're trying to stick to what can we do, just try to slip up and like, I don't
Yeah, totally. I think, oh no.
Oh, you like, all right. That's how you know. All right.
I think that's hard. I'm sorry. I want my glasses on. It's Heidi doing this with Susan. Susan's in green. Seriously, Heidi?
Hi, Catwoman. Welcome. Thank you for all the good work you do, all the tweeting you do. It's awesome. Catwoman, if you could help spread the word about the telephone number and the Twitter handle of the Sheriff's Department, and also the supervisor's telephone number, and any other information that people can scrape up off the internet. I didn't have all the time to do it, but it would be really nice if we lit up their switchboards and lit up their Twitter timelines, and just let them know that this movement is not fading. Because the sheriff made a statement the other day that said the movement is fading. I think he's wrong. Gentle Bear, thank you for that. I'm up on Global Occupy News Network.
Would David Rabbit be chuckling if Patrick got shot 7 times? That's your son's name, right, David? Patrick? Would you be chuckling if Patrick got shot 7 times? Would it really be that funny if you buried your child after being shot 7 times like a fucking dog? Would you be laughing then?
No, you wouldn't.
I'm sorry, piece of shit.
It is still America. People,
somebody who's blaming disrespecting them.
people died so this young man could speak. Keep talking. People died so he could speak. And you don't want to
My rock. I've heard some good shit about it going on.
Oh, Edgar said that?
My man.
Right, I know, right?
Well, you should talk about how they're trying to pass the buck. Supervisors trying to bring out city council bring out the sheriff. The most fact of the matter is a fucking clusterfuck. Somebody needs to take accountability. For a bunch of people that sit there and tell the public, you gotta be responsible for your
everybody, I'd like you to know that Susan Gorin has stepped out to be on this side and be with us in this moment.
Catwoman, it's in the pirate pad that I tweeted out this morning.
He's laughing at us and the motherfucker wanna join us, he go fuck himself. And if y'all can't see that, maybe somebody should bring it to your attention and apprise you of what's going on. That wasn't cussing, right? Apprise you. Let me formally advise you that this gentleman is making a mockery of this process by laughing in your face. Is that more appropriate for you? I'm sorry, the man is laughing in her face and he thinks it's funny.
We bombed people we didn't know and melted them to nothing.
What?
Susan, my 9-year-old daughter, wants to know why Andy died. And I can't find an answer, but I tell her if anything happens to my daughter,
Because he's a racist bigot and a punk. He comes from Cataluma. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Not for the Hispanic community. I just want everybody to be aware that David Rabbit doesn't give a shit about anybody who's a minority or color.
so there can be justice. Santa Rosa is not happy town. You guys are making it pitifully evil, and it's not evil. We're not making
We're making it evil?
We're trying to make it
Who's making it evil?
for the people that are children.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about why did Andy die? I don't know the answer.
Because we have racist bigots cops in our law enforcement community. Because we have sheriff's officers who are racist bigots. And we have city supervisors who allow that to continue. That's why Andy Lopez died. Because we have people here who are in positions of power that refuse to listen to the Hispanic community. That's why Andy Lopez died. Because we have individuals who are members of the Board of Supervisors who try to worry about $225,000. That's a cheap price tag for the price of a Mexicano. That's cheap at the price if they're going to continue to kill Hispanic children in our communities. That's why Andy Lopez died. Because nobody wants to give a shit when they are in positions of power to listen and care. But that's just my opinion. I'm just a Mexican from the ghetto. What do I know?
And I am so glad I'm here with all of you to talk about police violence and brutality. Thank you. Thank you. I know.
Dumb, ignorant motherfucker. That's the worst Mexican that we could have ever put up here. That's the worst.
Right,
As a
yep.
Mexican, that is the most horrible archetype for our people that we could have utilized. Is that for me to put correctly? I'm trying to refrain from expletives. Is that good? Does that work? Why don't you shake her hand when you ask and demand for Eric Galehouse to be put in jail? Mark McGuire? Did I get his name? Mike.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Board of Supervisors meeting of January 7th. And I don't have my red sheet in front of me, but we are going to, there is no report out of closed session because we're going to continue the closed session until after this particular segment of our day. And there are no actions determinations will come later, but we are on to public comment on matters not listed on the agenda. And I do appreciate everyone being here. I'll just let you know, and I know that I suspect that most of you want to stay within this room, but there are chairs out in the hallway, there's TVs set up, and if you feel the need to find a seat, they are available out there and you can sit down. It might be cooler, so I just want to let you know that as well. And I do want to welcome everyone. I have about 55 or so public comment cards. We have nothing else on our agenda this afternoon besides public comment, aside from approving some acts and determinations, which is kind of a quick task. So we're not going to limit the time frame. We're going to stick to 3 minutes, but I will ask if something has been said, if you can keep it shorter, 55 times 3. You can do the math going forward, and it takes a little bit to get people up. I'll try to call out a number of people. If you can kind of just get ready to come forward and speak, would appreciate it. We do take public comment at every vote that we take, on every item that we take on the agenda. We reserve this particular time every day for items that are not on the agenda, specific agenda of today, and that's where we're at. And I know that this crowd understands our commitment to civility, and we want to make sure that everyone here has an opportunity to speak. We want to make sure that everyone here has an opportunity to see who's speaking, to hear who's speaking, and to be able to see the dais and whatnot. So, and I know that the mirrors and the signs and everything are great in celebrating your First Amendment rights and everything else, but if we can make sure that you're not blocking your neighbor and doing the best you can to allow everyone to participate, I would really appreciate that, and I'm sure that the majority of people in the audience would appreciate that as well. I also want to ask you if we can refrain from clapping, cheering, chanting, whatever, and do this whole thing, only because we can move much quicker through the process and get people up here who want to be heard. Everyone has a right to speak to this body. Everyone should be welcome to speak to this body, and if we can do it in an efficient way, we can get it done today, and appreciate that, and look forward to that. First up is going to be Mary Moore, and after Mary Moore will be David Ortiz, and then after David Ortiz will be Peter.
Oh boy, I get to begin. Okay, in the 1990s, after a similar spate of police killings of civilians in this community, some of us got together, and after 2 years, with help from the police and more unnecessary killings, we got the U.S. Civil Rights Commission to come to town. It took 2 years. I came earlier. I gave you all a copy of this. I hope you've had time to read it, to think about it, because basically the report didn't come out for 2 more years. Government moves slowly. But it sided with the community. It sided with us, and it recommended many things. None of them have been implemented. Now, I have to confess, as an activist in this community, I was pretty cynical because they recommended civilian review boards. Okay, we don't want review, we want oversight. There's a huge difference, and I hope you all will take that into consideration. I want to thank you for picking or starting the process on this. I understand that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that only half of this task force to study this has been appointed. Is that true? Is there going to be more soon?
Everybody but the mayor, yeah.
Okay, because I understood also that possibly Monday would be the start of this group convening, and it can't convene quickly enough. So I just want to thank you for starting that process. I would like to say that prove us cynics wrong. Make sure this thing has teeth in it, like subpoena power. Who is going to pick these people? Are the civilians, us, going to have any say in who serves on this and what powers they have? There's a lot of questions, and there's reasons for our cynicism. And I hope you all will do your part to keep us non-cynical. I would love to be the first cynic to scratch that.
David Ortiz.
We have a two-part presentation.
Okay, you're Kim. That's fine.
My name is Kim Tripp-Smith, and I live in Occidental, California, and I am the mother of 2 children who are everything to me. This is not the first time I've come to speak to the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors. I've been here before to expose some of the violations that occur at the Sonoma County Main Adult Detention Facility, our county jail. My dear friend David was incarcerated there and was beaten so badly by 2 of your guards that he ended up in the hospital. He told the board about this more than a year ago, about the aggressive nature of the guards who beat prisoners because they can, because there's no oversight on guard violence. A month ago, we called Commissioner Efron's office to request an environmental review of specific areas in the jail that have black mold growing in them, including the showers and the air vents. Susan Upchurch called us back, but so far Efron has done nothing to address our complaints. We also told Efron that there are no P-traps in the jail's cell toilets, and therefore feces and toilet paper back up into certain cells in the middle of the night so that inmates wake up with black water on the floor of their jail cells. When my friend David complained, the guards offered him a bucket to clean it up. This is so wrong. The people in jail are our sons, fathers, uncles, daughters, mothers. Levels of fear, intimidation, and outright neglect are systematically used to enforce and threaten inmates into compliance. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, fear, intimidation, and neglect seem to be the driving forces behind Sonoma County's justice system, and I would like to call into question the efficiency and success rate of this losing paradigm. If all we can do as a society is lock people up, expose them to the cruelty inherent in the jail system from guards that beat prisoners without consequence, low-grade food I wouldn't serve my dog, crap sugar products from the commissary that promote weight gain and disease, extremely limited access to less than acceptable medical treatment with 1 medical doctor attending to more than 800 inmates, nurses who often misdiagnose ailments, prescribe conflicting prescriptions, feces on the floor, black mold in the showers and air vents, then we as a community are accepting countywide judicial failure. So what can be done to shift this paradigm? And then there's the disgusting way we treat our veterans at the MADF. These people that went and suffered for us, that went and fought for us. Well, one of the probation's core principles is that human beings can change, and probation has an interest and investment in positive change. Well, then this should be a clear directive to expose the negative connections between our jailed vets, lack of PTSD programs, crap food, guard violence, solitary confinement. Not to mention the fact that the MADF also conducts training exercises utilizing county guard jails in full black ops, tactical gear, assault rifles, who abruptly commandeer inmates, strip search them, and verbally intimidate them without consent. This is an extremely dangerous affront to veterans and triggers intense PTSD occurrences. And it's illegal according to Title 15 minimum jail standards. Title 15 also states that it's illegal to hold inmates for longer than 30 days in solitary confinement. My friend was held there for 6 months after being busted on, oh gee, driving on an expired license, but he's a man of color, isn't he? Since the board refuses to make changes, we need a vehicle for real community participation in the restructuring of how we treat our criminal offenders. Since it is in society's best interest that our jails help to facilitate positive changes in offenders so that they no longer break the law, I strongly advocate for the creation of a county stakeholders group with representatives from all corners of our diverse community with the power to make recommendations to stop the self-perpetuating style of violence and shift to the driving paradigm of our country needs of compassion, of actual care, of recognizing that if you heal our people, they won't come back to jail. And now my dear friend will continue.
David Ortiz.
Hello, my name is David Ortiz,
Sending out
and
the
I'm a veteran. And I've drawn a lot of foreign tourists to this country. And in the past decade, I've been in and out of Sonoma County Jail. I've been beaten up by the guards, sent to the hospital, breathed the black mold in the air vents, and received extremely poor medical attention, including misdiagnosis by the nurses, who are not supposed to diagnose anyways, well as conflicting and misprescriptions. I've been straight out denied proper medical attention. At this point, the correctional officers asked me if I was going to hurt myself. My reply in my haze was, if I would I tell you? The county standard for this is to come in, tase you, strip you naked, roll you up in a moving blanket, and throw you in a cell with big windows so everybody can look at you. It's humiliating, positive humiliating. Let's see. And as a Native American, if you ask for any religious help in the county jail, you're simply denied. There's only religious for if you're a Christian. My experiences are a microcosm of the county's choice to treat inmates as well as the surrounding community of color. It is apparently fear does not respect, sympathetic racism, violence, and intensity run rampant in our police force. Andy Lopez is a victim of this mentality. And Lopez is a victim of our Sheriff's Department personal PTSD against. PTSD runs both ways. None of that. Our community is stunned by our silence. We have been brought to our knees in sorrow. The Lopez family and all that takes place in the county that lives off the labor, and all this takes place in the county that lives off the labor of the Latino community. This community would be nothing without the Latino community. Nothing. That corner should be a beautiful park for the surrounding community. We will honor the Lopez family with or without your help and inspire to build a park. Bottom line, we strongly advocate for the creation of a stakeholders meeting and group to address the community suffering and to fix some of these problems. This can be an opportunity. Our community lost a child due to the aggressive practices and racist behavior of one of our officers, yet nothing has changed. We call on you to the inmates. We have fenced and floored and are breathing black mold, and right now are locked down and not even allowed to leave their cells because of this meeting. We would be doing, let's see. You could have used this, you could use this as a fall from grace or a platform to fight for real justice, to show a tangible concern, a compassion, the people you supposedly represent. But we've yet to do that. We ask you for the justice for, where's the justice for Andy Lopez? Where's the justice for the inmates in our jails? Where's the justice for our vets suffering from PTSD or our drug addictions stuck in solitary confinement when they should be in rehab program? At this point, Efren, since
David, you're going to have to wrap it up.
We ask you one thing. Hey, dude, boxers are greatest.
That's right.
My name is I'm with the Justice for Andy Lopez Coalition, and I want to know, why is Galhouse not arrested? Why is he not arrested? Why is he not indicted? This is unbelievably disrespectful. You have terrorized an entire community. Terrorized them. And it's not stopping. It's still going on. And this isn't about photo ops. We don't want photo ops. We don't want you to pass the buck. We want action. That's right. Yeah. Do you understand? A cop in 10 seconds murdered a 13-year-old child. He gets 2 months paid leave and his desk job. What does that tell the community? That it's open season on Mexicans. That's what it tells them. It tells the community. You murder their children, and you do nothing. The DA does nothing to help. Is that the kind of county that you want to be? And I know the basis of what you ran. You're dealing with the immigrants. I don't want to hear it from you, Rabbit.
I can't hear you when you yell into the microphone.
Well, that's...
And we don't want to hear your response.
That's right, honey. So, and I'm going to tell you.
You're not smiling, David. What's the problem?
Did you not use Q-tips this morning?
It's not cute anymore, is it?
Yeah, it's not cute
funny,
anymore.
is it?
Because we won't stop. We won't stop. No county in this country puts a killer cop back on duty after a murder. No other county in this country puts a killer cop back on duty after a murder.
Praise the Lord! Praise the Lord!
The Mexican community is. It's open season. It's open season. We can kill your children and nothing will happen. Officials will pass the buck. DA will cover it up. And nothing will happen. And let me remind you, the whole world is watching. And you know what? It only cost the county $225,000 to cover up a murder.
That's right.
$225,000 to cover up a murder.
That's pretty cheap to pay for a Mexican boy.
Phony photo ops. We're not asking for phony help to come out and say, oh, I'm standing with you. If you want to stand with you, this is a time for civil disobedience for everyone, not just us, but you.
Myself
because they don't get it.
That's right,
Dara. That's right. Woo. Everybody clap for Dara. That's right. Everybody clap for us. Wicked man, Justice Greg Lopez.
Victoria Hogan, I appreciate everyone's passion. Believe me, this board actually, and I failed to mention this when we started, this board has initiated 20 separate actions, including an independent review body, a community task force.
We want jailhouse and jail. We want them to be criminal prosecutors, and we want to run them to prison. That's what we want. We want them to be treated like any other person who would have killed the person on the street. He needs to be sent to prison.
As I mentioned earlier,
send jailhouse to prison. That's what we want. Set the proceeding. Everybody's looking. It's up to us to set the proceeding and send jailhouse to prison.
Hey guys, I know we're pissed off.
You know what? Hold on. The last time I was here, you showed a high level of disrespect. Putting me to speak loud. You know what?
Why don't we be a community?
Relax a little bit. You know, one of the things that run around. What is magic gonna do? Talk magic? You know what magic is? Magic is putting that killer cop, that killed that young kid in jail. Exactly. And yourself, you need to find yourself. I'm telling you, Sergeant. And then you get a young man over there standing up for justice. Exactly. And they want to give it to 7 years.
That's right.
Come on, man. Come on now.
Open your eyes.
Clap it up for Paul. Clap it up.
You want to do it? You want to play games? Let's play games.
Exactly.
You know what? Don't ever disrespect me like that. You know, you can play. You can play with everybody, you can play with your mama. But you know what? I'm not your family.
That's right.
And I'm going to tell you right now, you know what? All your seats, man, it can be replaced like that.
You're not even from out here, David. Go back to Petaluma, partner.
I'm serious on this one. Where do you get even at 10 seconds? I can't even muster up a 10-second anger to kill somebody.
Our tax right. That's right.
okay?
I'm Victoria Hogan, and I have the following statement for everybody, but please try to listen, because I think this is something that is important enough to have a lot of people have a voice, and the mothers in this community would like to have that today. The track record for the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors on the oversight of law enforcement is unacceptable. This board has a duty to the community to act responsibly and implement the recommendations made by the U.S. Civil Rights Commission in the year 2000. That's what's needed to restore trust. 16 years ago, the U.S. Justice Department sent the Civil Rights Commission to Santa Rosa to investigate officer-involved shootings. And after reviewing the procedures that were used by the sheriff and the local law enforcement, the commission issued a report in the year 2000 recommending 26 changes that were needed to put an end to the killings and to restore trust of this community. This board and all the members that have belonged to this board since the year 2000 have failed to adopt any of the 26 recommendations made by that federal commission. Not a single one was implemented. Since this report was issued, there have been 37 more officer-involved shootings, taser deaths, or other officer-involved deaths on the streets of Sonoma County. The Civil Rights Commission recommendations covered policy, complaint handling, employment, and training changes that were needed in addition to a civilian review board. They recommended that the board increase its oversight of law enforcement, review the use of force policies to expand the alternatives to deadly force, and train the officers to de-escalate the violence. And they said it was imperative. This is 14 years ago. They said it was imperative that an independent review be conducted after each incident. This board should look itself in the mirror and ask how many deaths could have been prevented, including the death of a 13-year-old named Andy Lopez, if this body had only done the right thing 14 years ago. You have a responsibility to act now and implement those recommendations made by the U.S. Civil Rights Commission. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to read my statement. Please, no red lights. My name is Elaine B. Holtz. I am a homeowner and 26-year resident of Sonoma County and 40-year resident here in Sonoma County. I'm a woman, a mother, a grandmother, and anything else you want to say after that. Hi, Mike. There is not a day that has gone by that I have not thought about the killing of Andy Lopez. I met his mother, Sergey Lopez, and looked into her eyes and saw the pain, and I cried for her loss. I vowed as a mother and a grandmother and an elder, I'm going to be 74 years this year, I will stand with her and find other mothers, other women who will also stand with her. And we will not sit down until we see justice in our community. Or even less, selling bullets, oh my God, when I think about it, went into her son Andy Lopez's young body. One of the bullets went through his young heart, through the heart of a child. Boom, 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 boom. And there he was, dead. And after that, the deputy sheriff went over and handcuffed him. He was dead and bleeding. Can you believe that? I can't.
I can't.
I can't. I mean, in my fathom, I just watched a movie, and I suggest all of you watch it, called Judgment at Nuremberg. I happen to be Jewish also. And look at how it starts. How it starts. It's things like this that make it happen. It's things like this that we ignore, that we end into a state like they did in Germany. I was told and read that he was shot by a seasoned officer who could not tell the difference between a real assault weapon and a toy gun. Only in a court of law will we know what motivated this action and if the shooter is guilty or innocent of murder. It was a slap in the face to allow the shooter to return to work. And it's a mystery to me that he was considered psychologically able? By whose determination and what criteria was used? I want to see the manual. I want to meet the psychiatrist that did that evaluation.
Yeah!
Where is it in Deputy Gelhaus's training manual that states, because he was scared? Were the police scared that day they were teaching our children to use MK-87s? That day? Where is it in Deputy Gelhaus's training manual that states, because he was scared, it was okay to shoot 7 bullets into the body of Andy Lopez and cuff him where he lay dead and bleeding? I want to see the manual that says that is acceptable, and I want to meet the person who wrote it. I look up there and I see all of you, and you know, I want to thank Shirley Zane. We were at a meeting and she came up to me and she explained all the things that the supervisors are doing, and I appreciate that. And I want to acknowledge her and also Susan Gorin for coming down, because they're women and we are standing here as women, as mothers. They are also mothers. When I look at all of you, I don't see superior beings. I see a body of people that we elected to protect and to serve us, to protect and to serve our children. I want to ask you one question. Rather, excuse me, several questions.
Elaine, you're going to have to wrap it up.
Okay, I will. I only have a few more statements. Do you believe that our law enforcement officers in Sonoma County are above the law? Do you believe that you are above the law? What would you do if this was your child? What would you expect from your elected officers? Would you not want a full investigation to see why all those bullets were necessary?
Hello? Hello?
Would you want the
What do you think about that, David? What if Patrick got murdered, David?
Allowing all the facts to come out? Would you want justice? Would you want to be blamed? They're blaming the parents. The parents should have allowed him to carry a gun.
Like a soft...
In conclusion, I want to say,
like a cuddly...
we are the people. We voted you. We trusted you. We trusted that you would do the right thing. Please do the right thing. I can't believe someone didn't call up Sheriff Steve Freitas and say, hey, what are you doing putting that guy back on the desk? The community's up in arms. And Freitas might have said, oh, well, we have to pay him, so we'll put him on the desk. I would have said, I don't care how much you pay him. Get him off the desk. Don't put salt on the wound of the community. Thank you. Everybody for being here.
Susan Lamont? Susan Lamont?
I've heard that you were hurt by the anger expressed by this group at your last meeting. I've heard this kind of reaction before all over the political spectrum. It deflects attention from the cause of the anger instead of addressing it.
It's going to get difficult seeing behind
What
the mirrors.
you need to understand
Everybody
is that
brought
you
big
are
mirrors.
simply the current faces on a power structure that does not serve this community. It's not about you personally. It's about institutionalized neglect, and sometimes institutionalized outright hostility. This community, both the Southwest community and the ever-growing community of underserved and underrepresented, is angry because it doesn't believe your words about reform and change. Its experience says, don't believe. This time, we're not going to be satisfied hearing what you can't do. We want to know what you can do. Is a park necessary? Yes. Is a public library down there necessary? Of course.
Exactly.
But that's not enough. We want an expose on the real power in this county. I don't expect to get it from the Bosco boys here. I don't expect to get it from our militarized law enforcement. So I'm turning turning to the women and asking you to step up. Tell us what is holding you back and why. Reveal the secrets, the behind-the-scenes power plays. Tell us what you're forbidden to tell us, what you're afraid to tell us. Why do Doug Bosco and Darius Anderson get what they want, but we don't? What pressures are coming from Homeland Security's tentacles around local law enforcement? Be the whistleblowers we need. Be our local Edward Snowden, our local Daniel Ellsberg. We need your civil disobedience. A young boy, Andy Lopez, is dead for many reasons, and we need to start unraveling the power structure if we are to have any hope of removing those reasons in the future. I want the prosecution of Deputy Gelhaus, but it will do little to change what happens in this county. We need heroines. If you step forward and give us the help we need, we will work against the status quo and for your re-election. You can be the heroines we need. Join us, represent us. Thank you.
Pat Sheehan.
Hell no, you don't.
Here
she is. Coming.
Pat Sheehan. Are you Pat Sheehan? No.
Yes. She's coming. Hold on. Coming.
Give her a minute.
Let's respect everyone in the community. Pat Sheehan's turn to speak. Thank you.
Well, I hadn't planned on speaking today.
Your card, is that Pat Sheehan? Is that not yours?
Yeah, I can show you my ID.
Well, you don't have to do that. I'm just reading the card in front of me.
Close to the mic.
You can pull the mic down again.
Andy was walking down the street.
Into your mouth.
Andy was walking down the street.
Don't do that.
No threat to the neighborhood. Deputy Gelhaus fired into occupied residents. Who was the threat to the community?
Yeah.
It was not Andy. Nope. That's all I have to say.
Woo!
After Nicole Guerra is Carla, is it Greenan?
There are 7 photos. Microphones! Can I hear you, please? These are the bullets that were put into Andy's body. 7. Count them. That's wrong. That Andy was a boy that he should still be here. And the fact that Gelhaus is able to live his life like nothing, basically, and
has no remorse.
nothing is being done, is a bunch of crap. And for you guys to sit there, I watched your video earlier, Shirley, on YouTube that you had put up there, basically passing it on to, everyone's passing it to you guys, to the what is it, the other city council, and then to the people saying, yes, we need to vote him, Freitas off. He needs to be gone.
Yes.
He's a piece of shit. He needs to go.
Yeah. Hey, how you gonna put him in a job
When you're sitting there in that video saying that you guys can't, basically saying you guys can't do anything. That's basically how I took it. And to know that you guys are sitting here, oh, well, we're doing this. We got 20-something actions that are taking both. It's BS. Because that's not going to satisfy us.
Yes.
We want justice. We want Gelhaus in jail.
Now. Yes.
You guys sit here and say we can't do anything. We can't do anything. What the heck can you do?
Yeah.
What can you do?
Eat donuts?
They can't even answer
To
questions.
help us get justice. Do something. Be useful. Be useful, please.
I'll go to Krispy Kreme's right now.
Suhe and Rodrigo lost their son. Andy was like a son to me. That's my son's best friend. In 6 months, my son will be testifying against the person that killed my daughter. My son will not have his best friend there to support him. Then, how do you tell your 13-year-old that at a time that he needs his best friend, it's different than being able to reach out to your family. It's a different kind of comfort. And now my son won't have that. Do something.
Right now.
Don't sit there and put this off. I've been waiting 5 years for justice for my daughter. And I'm more determined than ever to make sure that Suhe and Rodrigo don't have to wait 5 years for justice. To make sure they don't have to wait 5 years. You guys, as mothers, grandmothers, whatever, maybe you guys you men, whatever, can't relate to if this was your child. Because a lot of people, seems that they can't. But how about if this was your child's best friend? Something you can't necessarily control. How would you feel? What would you want? What would you expect?
I know.
Justice, right? Justice.
Right now.
Do something.
Right now.
Don't worry about what you guys can't do. Figure out a way to make things happen.
And I went through the end.
There's a way around everything. So make it happen.
Right now.
You guys have power. You guys have the connections. Do something.
Right now.
Don't make this family wait.
Shut up, David.
Right now.
Don't make this family wait 5 years. 10 years. Justice needs to be
This is a people's time to talk.
Gilhouse needs to be in jail. He doesn't deserve to be working. He doesn't deserve to just be out living his life with his family.
Take your time, Nicole.
Take your time.
You've had 5 minutes. There's other people behind you. I appreciate your comment.
We can wait. We can wait.
Obviously can't relate to anything that we say.
Not all day.
That I can tell. You walk in here and you're smiling at everybody just with a giggle on your face as you see everybody. What kind of respect is that for us and what we are feeling? And what we're asking and what we want? How disrespectful is that of you to come in here? Just basically laughing in our faces.
Yeah. Tired of the sleepless nights.
It's a bunch of crap.
Tired of the
Have some
sleepless
respect for us.
nights. Yeah. Tired of sleepless nights.
Tired of
Yeah, the sleepless nights. Imagine the sleepless nights. Suhe and Rodrigo, every night. Sleepless nights.
Call agreement.
I'm Carla Green, and I'm a mother who lost her only child. And until you do, this anguish of this mother and this father. Look at her.
Look at it, David, look at it. Look at the picture, David.
Put it next to you while you sleep.
It's another day to try to live.
Shove that shit in his face.
Can't you take off the mask for a minute? Drop the false sympathy and feel what these parents are feeling? Yeah. Imagine that.
Good job, Nicole.
Put yourself in that place. She tried to grab that coffin. I went up there and held her arm because I know what she's feeling. pain. It doesn't end. Not when she goes to sleep. Not when she gets up. Not the next day, the next year, or the next 5 years. Do something right for Rodrigo and Suhey before it happens to you. Because experienced police brutality, and it changed my life forever. And everyone in that community, our 5th generation, said it could never happen to her, and it did. So it can happen to you. Every one of you, get real. Don't be the next Rodrigo and Suhey. Give them justice. Have the justice.
Albert Howard. After Albert Howard is Magic Altman. After Magic is Stacy Sinchak.
Yes, my name is Albert Howard. And I've seen the murder of 13-year-old Andy Lopez as an example of a bigger problem by the oppressive right-wing forces that control our government at all levels. The devaluation of lives of our children, especially our children of color. And these wanton outright murders are wrapped in veils of secrecy, lies, and confusion as they are presented to the community. Bootlicking attorneys, general district attorneys, prosecuting lawyers, and politicians are well paid. They give lip service to community members who are actually the ones that pay their salaries and undeserved benefits. Meanwhile, the assassins and triggermen responsible for the murders of our youth are protected and hidden by these people who we have elected to serve us. This could be the manifestation of a bigger problem. If there is an example of the death of democracy, it is manifested in the killing of 13-year-old Andy Lopez. There's no stop and frisk, no questions asked, no warnings, no shoot to wound, just shoot to kill and leave no witnesses. Dead men tell no tales, not the dead children. So I say if Gillhouse is not indicted, that there be a movement to recall the DA, recall the sheriff, recall the Board of Supervisors, and recall the state attorney. And I would like to tell this body that you have some house cleaning to do yourselves, because I don't think it's pleasant for the community to read that one of your Board of Supervisors is out street brawling at night like a common thug. And this highly paid, low-life sexual predator who roams around without clothes on, intimidating and attacking women in their homes. So you need to deal with that. We need to clean it out and not let it be acceptable behavior for someone who's on the public payroll.
Magic Altman.
There's a lot of anger and emotion that is completely valid in this room today. But I get the sense that you have come over, walked through that door that was created after I was arrested, because I walked through that door, and come out to try to join us. If you want us to feel like you're participating, respond to something we're saying here today. Let's be a circle in the community. Don't just sit there and let this make you feel okay, it's a venting session. It isn't. This is real. You need to respond to some of the suggestions, to tell us what you're doing, to speak. Now I'd like to read my poem. When a mother births a child, she sends dreams of the future into the world. And when that child is killed in cold blood, all the dreams blow back in her face with a gale force, like a fire out of the gates of hell. All Andy's dreams now weigh on his mother and father to fulfill. And she's asking us to help her. We are mothers and grandmothers. We never want to experience what Sujay is feeling. But still, when we hear the news of another child dead at the hands of state, we must dip our toes in that fathomless, dark pool of grief, to empathize, to bear witness. But we cannot drown there, nor let our sister Sujay drown there. It is the worst nightmare of every mother. It is against the order of things. David, look at me. And you hide Gelhaus behind you. You let him continue to be silent. You have shut down your meetings, called out snipers and riot police, scaring Andy's young friends, filled with grief and disbelief that their friend is dead, that a piece of them died that day too. A man with dignity would come here and beg for forgiveness. Yes. Look into the eyes of Sujay and know the pain she is feeling. You too need to own your responsibility in this travesty. Own that our system is broken. Own that you have served the rich while Latinos are called illegal, called alien, constantly living with fear and intimidation until what was unthinkable became inevitable, the shocking finality of a murdered child. You are afraid too.
Exactly.
Afraid because you know how wrong this is. Know that a wildfire of truth, a brigade of our youth, will not relent until Andy can truly rest in peace, until we together do everything in our power to protect his friends and their bright and fragile futures. We do not care about your procedures. They have allowed Gelhaus to return to work while a family has a bullet hole through their hearts. Grief creates a mighty anger. Grief creates a fierce desire. Grief creates a mighty fire that tears alone cannot extinguish. We demand justice for Andy.
Right.
Open your hearts and speak to what is being said to you today. Then we are a community.
Stacy Sincha.
L-Walk. Hey, L-Walk. L-Walk. Life without the possibility of ever getting out. Just like any bus would have got.
Stacy Sincha.
Yes.
Everyone has a mother. And all of our hearts go out to Andy's mother. Sadly, I know what it's like to lose a child. It's the saddest and most tragic thing that can ever happen. And the killing of young Andy Lopez happened to the whole world. We stand here today to tell you that we all know that this killing could have been prevented, and you should have done more. You need to take steps to see that in the future, we do not have this kind of horrific police behavior in our beautiful Sonoma County. On a Sunday, in my congregation, I lit a candle for Andy and thanked him for giving his life for this cause so that we may have the opportunity for more love and compassion for each other and to begin in earnest to solve these long overdue murderous problems. Obviously, most of us want peace and not violence in our lives. I said most. So let's work together to find these peaceful solutions to these problems. You have the power. The world is watching. These shoot-to-kill police need retraining. And we all need peace officers instead of war mentality. Please. Here's something you'll understand. Since Sonoma County is a world-famous tourist destination, and you know how important that is to our local economy and all of us, we know that that fact, if nothing else, will wake you up to take some kind of action. And we are all waiting with bated breath to see what amazing decisions, or I should say solutions, you will find to implement on our behalf. Be strong. Do what is right. And your mamas will be proud of you too, like Andy's mama was proud of who he was.
Anna Salgado. Anna Salgado.
She's coming. Okay.
After Anna is Peter.
Who after Peter?
Buenas tardes a todos. Antes que nada, gracias a toda la comunidad por estar apoyándonos. Muchas gracias a todos. Somos una comunidad. Gracias. Me llamo Ana. Yo vivo en calle 9.
She says, good afternoon, my name is Ana Salgado, and she thanks the community for being here.
También les agradecería que pusieran atención a todos los reclamos que estamos dando. Yo vengo de un área donde tenemos los mismos problemas.
I would like you to listen to us, and I would like you to take us into account today. I live in West 9th, where there's a lot of problems.
Donde la arrogancia de los oficiales se nota a una milla.
You see the arrogance of the officials, the police in the area, from even a mile away.
Están haciendo que nuestros jóvenes que creen en ustedes, que creen en la comunidad, los vean como enemigos, cuando realmente lo que queremos es que nos entiendan y entenderlos a ellos también.
It's like you're saying to those officials that you should see us as enemies, but we're not the enemies. We want you to understand us. We want you to take action about this.
Llegué aquí de 17 años.
I came here when I was 17.
He aprendido las leyes de aquí.
I've learned the laws of this land.
Sigo aprendiendo.
I'm still learning about them.
Le he regalado al condado de Sonoma 3 hijos maravillosos.
I've given the gift of my 3 children to this county.
En mi casa,
in my house,
no hay día que no haya una discusión, porque ellos aman a su país.
There's not one day that doesn't go by where we talk about how much they love their country.
Aman sus leyes.
They love the laws here. They look to you.
Ellos me han enseñado.
They have taught me.
Todo lo que yo sé de ustedes aquí, ellos me lo han enseñado. Me duele porque lo que le pasó a Andy Lopez, creo que no debió haber pasado.
What happened to Andy? Because it should not have happened.
Soy madre y cuando supe esto, tú no necesitas, hasta el animal más malo se le mueve el corazón con esto.
I'm a mother and
me duele lo que le pasó. pasó a Andy.
It hurts her what happened to Andy in her heart.
Hasta el animal más malvado se conmueve con esto.
Even the worst animal feels pain about this situation.
Yo no he visto esto de ustedes.
I haven't seen this pain from you.
Yo he estado en todas las marchas.
I've been in all the marches.
He visto cómo nos han mandado
I've seen how they've sent
para amedrentar.
the riot gear, the police in the riot gear, to intimidate us.
Pero ¿saben qué?
But you know what?
Lo que no he visto es el miedo en los ojos de nuestros jóvenes.
What I've seen is, what I have not seen though, is the fear in our youth.
No lo he visto.
Since that day, I have seen.
Tenemos líderes.
We have leaders.
Que gracias a ellos ustedes tienen un puesto ahí.
Thanks to those leaders, you are in this position you are in these chairs right here.
Y les pido que por favor se pongan una mano en el corazón.
And I ask you, from
Put your hand on your heart.
put your hand on your heart.
Y vean y atiendan estas quejas, por favor. Algo se tiene que hacer.
And see
ahora.
and hear and take action. We need action today.
Right now.
Y por favor,
Now, and please.
yo no he visto a nadie de ustedes que hagan una junta
I have not seen any meetings from you
en donde le ofrezcan una disculpa a los padres de esta
where you
criatura.
have offered an apology to Suhe and Rodrigo. I have not seen a meeting where you have come together to do a meeting like that for them, to apologize to them.
Estuve en nuestra iglesia.
I was in our church.
Miré cómo llegaron los Reyes Magos a darle juguetes a los niños.
I saw how the three kings, they came to give the gifts to the children.
Y me pregunté yo,
And I asked myself,
¿qué fue lo que pediría Andy si estuviera aquí?
what would it that Andy would have liked to get as a gift if you were here?
Nunca lo sabré, ni sus padres tampoco.
Nobody will know that, not me and not his parents.
Pero como madre yo pienso que justicia es la palabra correcta.
But I think justice is the right word. Translation.
Thank you very much for the translation. Peter Chernoff. Peter Chernoff.
Next.
What are you talking to?
I'll say what I see that there is, without doubt, plenty of pain, anger, frustration. I see in this room that there are warriors that are ready to do what is needed, given and necessary, the appropriate response. How many more must die before it be clearly acknowledged and understood that Almighty be? And a lack of knowledge is a terrible thing. I listen to Albert. He's loud and very serious every time he speaks. Maybe it's appropriate for him to lead the Aztec insurrection, the great general strike. Repeatedly for years, and how they've overcome to become a choir ever so higher, singing and dancing, almighty romancing, angels if you will. A story quite compelling, no longer be they dwelling on such and so much death and destruction. Time now would do or have done. And is it not within our power to do so? The answer most certainly is not in pointing fingers in this direction, because you are the ones that have all the power, but you're somehow confused and believing of the opposite. King said, rise up in his promised land speech. And all of a sudden you want to listen to having one lawyer, no matter how well intentioned in a corrupt system, can never attain the justice you believe needs to be happening. But this lawyer is as if nothing compared to the power that you wield right here, right now in your heart.
You wrap it up, Peter.
I will. The problem is us. The problem is that we're about hip deep in blood of the sentience we've been given to protect and serve and love, and that murder includes them as well. And until we have the courage to acknowledge that, and when we have the courage to acknowledge that, that is the day we can turn and look at each other and smile with the authority and the power to make the changes through this 40-day general strike that opens up the promised land, and we can be very thankful that someone like Andy, unfortunately and maybe beautifully, had to give up his life for us to finally open our eyes. Jorge?
For the opportunity. I would like to ask right now if the Andy Lopez lawyer is here, or the family.
Andy Lopez lawyer?
Or the mama or daddy of Andy Lopez here. It's not. But I wish you can transmit what I'm going to talk right now. I'm very sorry about the tears in this room from the people who came. Many of them lost their family. I thank you for you shake hands with people before. That's a very good thing. Look like you are running for re-election, and I hope you win if you sometimes run for that. But what happened in this situation? There is a strong cover-up with this murderous criminal act of this police. This was an execution style. This was an execution style at the way of the mafia style. One bullet put this guy already literally dead. That's excuse, even if it was a toy gun. Okay? At 2 bullets, practically the guy was already killed. Okay? Now. Okay. But to put 7 or 8 bullets after that is an agenda. Why? Because dead people don't talk. Dead people cannot defend himself. That's the agenda. If you, as a police enforcer, kill somebody, is wounded, kill him. That's the way it is. That's the agenda. That's the training. That's the very bad. Okay. That's why that guy emptied his gun. You know what this stuff makes when it hits your body? It blows out you inside. 1 bullet put this guy down. Now, the cover up right now, this is, somebody told me, the family of the guy, that this is the last time this case is going to be taken in a town hall meeting. That's not, if the family allows that, it's going to happen because the cover-up is already done. The guy is already back on the streets. He's a psychopath, he's a killer, perdonable. But it's not his fault. The fault is whoever is in the chain of command and the training and the budgeting and all those things. And you are in that system. That's why the cover-up. That's why the impunity is going to be a cold case with the killer that everybody knows is running away like that. It's not his fault. It's your fault. And I hope the family, if somebody can tell them, you have to be on in the seat, in the defendant seat for this situation because you are in the chain of command and the training, budgetary, and also by name, the mayor, the chief of police. They are the ones who are protecting this guy. And he's going to come back to keep killing. And it happened this is going to be a precedent. Please tell the family. It's going to be a precedent to keep all of you accountable. In the defendant seat, you, all of you. Because right now you are involved in a cover-up. Obstruction of justice. Only the family. Only the family. No one else. Don't come cry. Don't come tell your heart. They are not going to do that. You are not going to do that. You don't have heart, sir. It's not your boy. It's not your family. And I think, I hope to see you, all of you, the mayor and the chief of police, in the court. The court is waiting for you, family.
Need justice!
That's the only way. Thank you.
one is Frank Said.
Hi guys, Alan McFarland here. I understand what's going on with Andy Lopez and these people, and I understand what's going on in the county. And I have some fixes to suggest for you, because there is really no solution to this problem. The problem is really big. We put Native American Indians in the ghetto at the point of a gun. You know, we do it to the black people too. We do it to the Mexicans. And it's a big problem here that we need fixes for. So I'm going to go through 3 fixes, and I'm going to tell you why I want them. First fix, fire all county employees every 5 years. Every sheriff deputy, every ADA, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, anybody who's a county employee, they get fired every 5 years. And they go to another of 6 jurisdictions, metropolitan areas. They got to go through another background check. Then they have to explain, what did you do for the last 5 years?
Nothing.
And see if they get rehired.
I know.
And their 30-year retirement comes from Sacramento. They'll still do their time. They'll get their retirement in, and they'll act like the California Highway Patrol. They'll be extremely professional, and we're just here for business. Now, where am I coming from? I'm an ex-cop, federal police officer. I'm still sworn under oath. I'm also a psychologist. So I got 2 hats here, and this is a learned, experienced opinion. The second suggestion, no fraternization for government employees. Judges don't have sex with the sheriff, district attorneys don't have sex with the supervisors. The person who's serving sandwiches over here, they don't have sex with the librarian. Because this gets into pilferage, and you get into bed buddies, and the problem with judgment and you know, being friends with each other, that gets in the way. The third thing is the sex abuse laws that you have for me, I want them for cops. I dress up as a Sonoma County Sheriff Deputy, come out with a badge, use a gun, and use the appearance of authority to go rape a woman. I've just done 5 bad things. But if it's a real cop that does that, they're not going to get charged with 5 laws like I have. So why do I bringing up this stuff? In psychology, we have professional code of conduct. We do not have sex with our clients. And 99.99% of the time, that's the way it goes. We don't do it. It's bad for our colleagues. It's bad for the patients. It's bad for the people that give us money. It's bad for us. And medical doctors, they have babies, they have families, they have wives and husbands. Whenever their family is sick, they go send them to another medical doctor because of this thing called transference or countertransference. You either love someone or you hate someone. A mongoloid boy and a mongoloid girl, the hormones are hitting, the genetic message is there, and they want to go play house and have baby sex. And it's the hormones talking. This mongoloid boy and mongoloid girl, the Down syndrome, they can't raise healthy children. And you have to basically sterilize them if you want them to have sex. But, you know, these people like, these people like, you know, Eric Gilhouse or Ted Bundy or, well, even Supervisor Carrillo, they're not evil. They're addicts, yeah. They may be sick, twisted, and monsters, but they're not evil. And, you know, get them some recovery. You know, have them cry out the bitter, salty tears, move the muscle memory, and reset their autonomic nervous system. But the only way to fix this, because you guys got to make laws. You guys got to make rules. Fire all the county employees every 5 years. No fraternization between government employees, and the same-sex abuse laws are for the cops and specifically. Because if you hire me as a cop, I put on this uniform, I'm going to give it honor, and no one's going to get raped under my shift. Thank you very much.
My name is Frank Size. I'm a father, I'm a citizen of Sonoma County. Sonoma County is not all blonde and blue-eyed people. There are citizens of this community who are voiceless, with no representation at the big decision-making tables. We want leaders of the community to bring us analysis, point us in a good direction, and provide us solutions to the problems that our community faces with our law enforcement agencies, which include unwarranted stops, disrespect, and the killing of our children. Did you hear the anger? And did you feel the fear in the community in response to the death of a child, Andy Lopez, by Deputy Jailhouse in Moreland, Colonia? If you can, that is empathy. You have stepped out of your own shoes, and you have stepped into our shoes, of even for a moment. So what do you think we are feeling? If you can feel the emotions, then you are understanding our struggles for dignity, respect, and freedom from discrimination. I challenge you, the Board of Supervisors, to step into our shoes and walk in our neighborhoods to understand the problems we face each day. To see the bigger picture of our struggles for the good life is to see more than you are seeing right now. There is a new power in Santa Rosa, rising from the ashes of Andy Lopez. It might look like chaos, but a new form of representation has risen. Could this new representation be better? It all depends on how you choose to contribute to a solution to our community concerns on law enforcement policy. To that end, this fight for justice for Andy Lopez is a declaration of our vows to improve law enforcement policies within our community. We will not back down. We need solutions, not apologies for the murder of Andy Lopez. We want high standards of police accountability to all citizens of Sonoma County. Without love and empathy, our sense of humanity will not survive in Sonoma County. Justice for Andy Lopez.
Justice for Andy. Justice.
My name is Ramon Cairo. Thank you for having me.
Yeah!
I'm going to address the conversation on the fact that the reality is none of these people really care what we got to say. So I'm speaking to those who are going to consider what I have to say. And so I will first start off by explaining, not even explaining, I'm just going to let you know very clearly that in case of, for those of you that are not familiar with the Andy Lopez case, I want to clear up a couple of things. As a child, and I'm not going to get into semantics, the fact of the matter is that as a child, Andy Lopez was exactly the right place where he should have been. Okay? So to clarify, Eric Gelhaus did not perform his job. He wasn't following procedure, and he wasn't doing what his job detailed him to do. As a predator, he came into our community and he murdered a Mexican child. I don't really want to get into semantics. It's very easy to comprehend. A predator came into our community and murdered a child. You know, regardless of how you dress him up, he just so happened to be dressed like a sheriff. But the reality is that individuals in the law enforcement community in the Southwest and predominantly in the west side of Santa Rosa, like somebody stated, it's hunting season. And if you just so happen to be a minority, the mark is on you, man. And so I want to be very clear with the public that this is not something that we just woke up one day and, oh, we have a problem. No, this is a problem that has been here. It actually never went away. The systematic killing of minorities in Sonoma County is alive. And to be quite honest with you, the only reason why I'm not really addressing these people behind me is because I feel very strongly that silence is complicity.
Yes.
So these people behind me, and I can see you, David Rabbit. I know you probably looking at some porn or something. This is a little more. The fact of the matter is that when somebody in a position of power, and you know, I'm nobody special, man, but as a man, and please excuse my language, As a man, I stand on my own 2 feet and I pack my nuts.
Yeah!
And if somebody comes to tell me that I was not allowed to speak on an issue that was pertinent in my community like Andy Lopez, I would honestly give him the middle finger and tell him to please excuse me, but I got something important to discuss.
Yeah!
Because these are matters that affect my community. And these individuals behind me should be invested in matters in our community. Perpetrated upon us by these people. Because I repeat, silence is complicity. Okay? There's no other way to put it. The moment somebody says, oh, I'm sorry, this county, my county council told me that I can't talk about this. And you know what? We need to talk about this. It's affecting us. It's affecting a large demographic of our communities. And these people refuse to acknowledge that. And so to incompetent individuals, or rather individuals who seem to want to wallow in their incompetency, like Sheriff Freitas, like Jared Ravitch, the fact of the matter is, regardless of how you want to look at us, we are as intellectual as you, if not more so. We have the same amount of intellect as you, if not more. So please don't try to look at us with a smirk on your face like we're stupid, like we're not understanding what's going on, or like we're ignorant in the ways of how you try to go about coping with the situation. We will not stand for that. And I repeat, silence is complicity in this situation, so it is up to us as people to stand up and speak about what is important in our community. We have to do that, because obviously, these people ain't going to do it for us.
Rip him a new one.
Yeah, rip him a new hole. Hey, let him look in the mirror.
Hello, my name is Clarinda Stanley Upperstanding, and I would like to see justice be done right now. I am a mother and a grandmother, and what Gail House did, it's not right. It's wrong. We have to take justice for Sonoma County. Thank you. God bless you.
Alice?
Hey.
I'm sorry.
Otro.
After Alice will be Tova Fry. After Tova will be Thomas Bonfigley. Bonfigley, I'm sorry.
Buenas tardes. Primero traigo un gran saludo de solidaridad a la familia y la lucha aquí de Colombia, a la familia de Andy Lopez. Todo el mundo en Colombia sabe quién es Andy Lopez. I just came from Colombia not long ago, where I've been working for many, many years in human rights. In Colombia, we have faced murders by the state, murders by police, by the military, of thousands upon thousands of people, displacements and jailings. It's the bread of every day, as we say down there. We get up every morning and that's what we expect. And also along with that comes the immunity of the officers and of the police and the military who do these killings. They're never charged. They're never named, and if anybody makes too much noise about it, they're also killed. So I came to the States and I said, wow, what's happening here? We've got Alan Bluford. We have Mario Romero, just in the community here. And I began to learn about all of these cases of young men of color who've been assassinated by the state. And on and on and on. What's happening? And there's immunity here. What's the difference with Colombia? What's the difference with an out-and-out fascist, anti-people state in South America? What's the difference here? Everybody in South America knows who Andy Lopez is. Telesur, which is one of the very, very great stations in Venezuela that broadcasts to all of South America and Central America and the Caribbean. Everybody listens to, everybody knows about it. All of the newspapers have published about Andy Lopez, and everybody's waiting to find out what's going to happen with Andy Lopez. What are you going to do? You're on every channel, and you're in every newspaper in South America, and everybody wants to know what decision you're going to make about the charges against the policeman who murdered Andy Lopez. Thank you.
I'm with the Justice for Ellen Bluford Coalition out of Oakland, and we bring our solidarity, and we have been with you, a number of us, on different of the marches you've had, and we know what it's like to struggle against these cops who shoot with complete disregard for the lives of our black and brown youth, who shoot with complete audacity, knowing that they will never be held responsible for what they do. On the day Andy was murdered, there's at least 3 of us in this room who were in Sacramento demonstrating against police brutality in the state of California, and all the families of others who have been murdered by the police were there demanding that something be done about this. And we marched to Kamala Harris's office, the state attorney general, and presented a letter to her demanding that she start investigating all these cases of police brutality. And if the county DAs who haven't acted in Oakland and who haven't acted in Southern California and haven't acted in Vallejo and haven't acted in a lot of other counties around the state don't act, Kamala Harris not only has the ability but the obligation to take on these cops and prosecute them. And so if these guys don't do their job, we're demanding that Kamala Harris clean up the mess and start prosecuting these cops that shoot with no fear of any repercussions or investigations of any kind. And so we demand that this be a statewide investigation, and Andy Lopez should be high on the list of, you know, this was totally predictable what happened to Andy. There is no way it should have happened in the first place. It was totally predictable that a cop like Gail House, who was teaching other cops how to make sure that when you shoot somebody, you kill them, so that there's no evidence left behind and no witnesses. A cop that should have had the experience to know that you don't even act, even if you think there's something going down, without waiting for backup and reinforcements and toning down the situation instead of ramping it up. He had no business at all going anywhere near that child. So, you know, he shouldn't have gone anywhere near there. Even if he thought it was a real gun, there was no excuse for him to act. All he had to do was back off. You know, so you know, we're just saying that there's a requirement, a responsibility of not only these guys behind me, but the county prosecutor and the state attorney general and everybody that calls themselves supposed to be enforcing justice in this country. It's time for them to do it, or we're going to do it for them.
Zach Britton. Good afternoon. My name is Thomas David Bonfili, and I'm a lifelong resident of Sonoma County. I am genuinely buoyed by this excellent turnout today. It is a living testament to the fact there are so many people who care, and care deeply, about the things that matter most: quality of life, quality of our elected leaders, and above all else, justice. I tell you all now, people, get ready. There's a train that's coming. Just what kind of a train is it, you ask? I will describe it to you. It is a powerful train of justice. And guess what? In case you haven't noticed, a few of its passengers are sitting right behind me. Hello, hello. Yeah. Hello. And I have to say, it's quite a beautiful sight to behold, watching it make its way slowly down the tracks, picking up passengers all along the way, starting at the West County, entering southwest Santa Rosa, traveling along its route, which runs parallel to Highway 12 and Sebastopol Road, past my old boyhood home of 32 years, and continuing down into Roseland, finally arriving at Moreland Avenue, as it incinerates, combusts, and disposes of a socially toxic waste consisting of instances of inappropriate conduct by elected officials, old wounds caused by inequality and intolerance, and unacceptable socioeconomic injustices which strike at the heart of our confidence in our county's political and civil institutions and shake the foundations and framework of our democratic system of government. Just what does his train and his historic journey mean to me? It means that elected officials who engage in conduct unbecoming will no longer be tolerated. It means elected officials who make promises to the electorate with no intention of following through with their implementation just to get elected to a high-paying position on a throne of seeming impunity will no longer be tolerated. It means relegating the residents of Southwest Santa Rosa to near third world status in order to ignore their concerns will no longer be tolerated. It means giving mere lip service to the health, welfare, and needs of the people of Southwest Santa Rosa, while their eastern counterparts enjoy a higher level of services, will no longer be tolerated. It means continued sidestepping of the issue of annexation of Roseland and Moreland Avenue and treating both of them like unwanted stepchildren will no longer be tolerated. It means a law enforcement officer who chooses to shoot a 13-year-old boy who was on private property who posed absolutely no threat whatsoever to the public will no longer be tolerated. It means a sheriff who allows the same officer to return to duty, even to a menial desk position, before the official investigation is even completed, will no longer be tolerated.
That's right.
And finally, it means a board of supervisors which continues to sit silently while it ignores these pressing issues will no longer be tolerated.
After Zachary will be Angela Gonzalez. After Angela will be Al.
Who's after Al?
You know, seeing Nicole up here at the podium crying, it just breaks my heart. And, you know, David Rabbit, I want you to look me in the eyes, and I'll wait until you put your pen down and you look me in the eyes, because I'm going to tell you something. You are a sociopath. You're up there laughing. You think it's funny.
You're a bitch.
That's right.
A punk bitch.
Okay?
Yeah, with the red face, punk bitch you are.
So,
yes.
Effort Grillo, how dare you? How dare you say not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times that the death of Andy Lopez was a gift? How dare you?
What?
You have insulted the Lopez family. Wow. And I stand here today to demand that you leave the Lopez family alone.
Yes.
Okay? I'm here to stand with the women in white who have everything to say. Great women like Dara and Nicole and Elaine. I stand with them and all the women in white.
Good Samaritan.
How dare you show up to all these events and take 5 minutes to have a photo op and then leave like it never happened? How dare you? Now, I stand strong for Elaine and Dara and Nicole and all the women in white, like I said. And Efren, I speak from the heart, you just speak from your mouth. Okay?
Hey, you should hang around with us.
That?
Remember?
Do you understand?
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of you stabbing the Latino community in the back. You do it over and over again. I've had enough. I'd like to say that I'm sick and tired of hearing that the kids in the neighborhood where Andy Lopez was shot are bad kids. Because for a year, I was a school bus driver and my route ran down Moreland Avenue. And when I protest for justice for Andy Lopez, I see a lot of familiar faces out there. And these are good kids. There was not a bad kid on my bus. So anyone that wants to say that these kids are okay? Now, I grew up in the area around Plano High School, but I chose to go to El Cielon. I commuted across town every day to go to El Cielon. And I graduated from the class of 2001, and I am a proud El Cielon Lobo. Okay? So you don't tell me that this is a bad neighborhood and you need your gang prevention program there. You don't tell me that. Now, I'm going to say one more thing, and you can cut my mic off if you want, but I'm going to say it. Okay? A great friend and a fellow activist, Deborah Treboros, recently said that. She said that we live in a time We live in a time that will define every man and woman's soul. And you know what? It'll separate the wheat from the chaff, and the good from the evil, and the innocent from the guilty. And let me say something. Will you stand for freedom? Will you stand for justice? Will you give a voice to the voiceless? Will you take a stand against corruption? Will you stay true to your convictions? Will you keep your faith in the face of darkness? Will you show the way for the next generation of leaders? Will you expose the fraud in the system? Will you stand shoulder to shoulder with your brothers and sisters, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Arab, and Native American, and transcend race and gender to pursue social justice?
Yes. I know. Why you look so bored, David? Because
he sold his soul for a little bit of power that he has.
Hello. As you said, my name is Angela Gonzalez. I know many of you guys sitting up here don't know me, and I actually did prepare a speech to present. But since none of you board members really know me, like I said, allow me to inform you. My name is Angela Gonzalez. I graduated from St. Vincent's High School in Petaluma. I was born, bred, and raised in this country. I went to private school most of my life. Some of you have kids and grandkids who could have been my classmates. My family is well established and some hold power, like many of you sitting up here on the board. Not in this community, not in this county, and without dropping names, that's where I'm coming from. I recognize these men in uniform and some who just entered behind me, these men on either side of the podium. I recognize them from inside the jail walls. I recognize them as slackers who would rather sit at their computers and ignore cries of inmates. I recognize them. I also recognize them as men who will torture women prisoners. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I can attest to that.
Shame!
They torture women for their own pleasure, their own
shame!
I'm not a linguistics major, but now I understand the term cop-out, because that's where it's coming from. People who don't take responsibility for their own actions, those who allow it to happen, people who are two-faced. Please don't be fooled. It could happen to your kids. You only know what your children tell you of them. Imagine, even if your kids are adults and your job is done, imagine burying your grandchild because you did not take action against the irresponsible men that you enable. Imagine being publicly humiliated because one of your young is behind bars. And imagine the nightmare your child would face in a cell on lockdown, being bullied by these overgrown children because these sheriffs, as one told me directly, went to the school of the hard knocks. And your child is a child who had all the opportunity, who was raised properly, has a parent who wears a suit and a tie or a blazer and a scarf, and you're gonna cut me off. Not a gun and a badge, handcuffs and tasers. It could happen to you. Humiliation, loss of your young, and maybe the end result of it all would be having children that hate you. But Andy died to show you. Andy died with great love for his mother, father, brothers, and sisters. We are all Andy's family.
Is there an Al from 887? No? Marnie Roth?
Could I ask you to check where my name is? I'm a woman in white. I do have a prepared statement, but I have to go quickly. My name is Mary Norman.
Marnie, if you're okay with letting her go, I appreciate that. Go ahead.
Thank you. Hello, I feel like I want to face everybody and include everybody. because we are one human family. I would like to have a moment of silence. Sometimes silence is more powerful than words. If we could all just come down into our heart and be present and breathe with it all. We are all here together. And you can't tell me that every human being doesn't have an innate love of freedom. And you can't tell me that we all don't need food and water and education and health services. We all need these things. And there have been so many wonderful statements. It's hard to say, but I would like to just piggyback on a few. One is a gentleman that said, first I'm going to go to the paramilitary. I wrote my dear friend Peter Phillips, who he is in charge of Project Censored, and I said, what is causing the city police to become a paramilitary force? Because to me this is frightening, and I've been a peace activist in this community for 30 years. I'm a retired teacher from Santa Rosa Junior College. I've taught immigrants my whole life. I speak Spanish fluently. And I'm an immigrant rights activist. And the reason I'm an immigrant rights activist is because in addition to learning Spanish, I took it upon myself to learn U.S. foreign policy to Latin America. And let me tell you, it's a frightening, horrible, shameful foreign policy. And then I taught English as a second language for 25 years. And then I retired and I started my show, Voices for Social Justice. Some of you might recognize me that I've had a show, Voices for Social Justice. And I did 113 shows on the issue of social justice. And I did all my shows, and if I had one point that I was trying to make, is that we have to have a political analysis, we have to know what's going on, and we have to know what our own government is doing in our name. Because, my dear friends and colleagues, if you would watch a film called The Harvest of Empire, what is done in the name of United States foreign policy is terrorism and genocide against Native Indigenous people of this country. Genocide. Millions of people. But this is with the CIA coups and our School of the Americas in Fort Benning, Georgia, trained the death squads that went to El Salvador and tortured and killed 6 nuns and buried them in a mass grave. It was our money from the United States training assassins, training the person who killed Archbishop Romero as he said the Mass, because he had told the people, stop killing your own people. And the history of Latin America is something that I don't have the time to teach you, but But let it be said that we have to know history, because and fast forward, because I'm limited time.
If you could wrap it up.
This killing of Andy Lopez is nothing new. This is business as usual for Latin Americans under U.S. law policy. The tip of the iceberg. Imagine Andy at the top and exponential numbers underneath, dead and
Mary,
killed.
you gotta wrap it up.
Let her talk! Shame!
We're halfway through and we have to let everyone.
Okay, so I have one more point, and I'm going to make it because I asked Peter Phillips, I said, why is the police becoming paramilitarized? And he sent me an email. The global 1% includes the transnational corporate class representing the primary holders of all the world's wealth. Capitalist countries are building national security states to protect this wealth. The functions of the states today are essentially population and labor force containment. The bottom 1/3 in the world are faced with total destitution, living on a couple dollars a day. National security states are using resources to build population control mechanisms for the developing of
in the county, please come step outside, please.
A neo-feudal society. In other words, they're here to control the workers, and they're here to control the wealth, and
Thank you, Mary.
we all, if we go into a police state, they've already
Thank you, Mary.
gotten ready.
Marty Roth.
We're going to serve the county budget.
Yes, my dear. Last time I was here, you cut me off short. Like today, I really don't have a speech like I did last time. No matter how fast I read.
Are they going to serve them now? Is that okay? Yeah.
I look at some days and I think I'm just.
Okay, so we're going to serve papers right now. And I'm going to go on that there, and then I'm going to come back to
I'm a mother and I'm a grandmother. I just had my 5th grandchild a couple of weeks ago.
Thank you, thank you.
And I have 5.
That was thank you. You like it? Thank you.
He's coming. He's coming.
I'm doing so you're sorry. Gonna go to my car for a second because I need a wire. Other than that, coming right back here. They're going to be serving papers. They're actually the lawyers are actually serving papers on the Board of Supervisors. So that should be a little interesting walk over there. Right now, I need one more cable out of my car. Try to stay connected here. Really bad, the connection up here. It's really, really bad. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get somebody to explain exactly what they're going to do.
When your time is up.
Yeah. Did they go already? To serve the people?
They're inside.
Oh, okay.
A lot of them are.
Okay, I thought they were going right then to serve the papers.
The Constitution is all irrelevant.
Because you're usually the one getting family say you had just filed an amended complaint.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
He's a child killer. That's the worst thing you could be.
They're little babies.
Yes.
They're barely starting.
Yes.
Or Sonoma County.
It's so beautiful.
Please.
That's right.
Sonoma County is so beautiful. We need justice. You know how this ruins Sonoma County. We have to fight for Sonoma County, man. We can't let one
guys are on the
person
inside, you're on our team, let's do it.
His mind ruin Sonoma County.
It's not
He's
just
sick in the mind. He needs help.
either.
He needs help.
Problem.
And we can't lose Sonoma County unless we see justice towards jailhouse. He's not right in his mind.
A lot of you guys aren't.
Sonoma County is so beautiful. We have to have justice. Or he's going to kill again, man. He'll kill again. He'll do it again. He's not right in his mind.
Issue, because the point of view of the people needs to be heard, and I think it's so we just heard all the speeches, and it went on for about 2 hours, and this is my cameraman, Tom Rivas.
I'm having a staring contest with officers.
And one of the things that really came out in the meeting,
You thought it was funny?
the people, the Latino community really feels insulted by the
I wasn't late.
and they feel that there was a lot of racial profiling, and they feel that it never happened. The jailhouse should never happen.
He wasn't ready. You blindsided him.
We're in grief. We're in grief. And it doesn't seem that immunity for someone who's killed somebody is actually it's like a state of cooperation with an injustice. So that's why we're here. We believe that in our opinion, killing is a sin. We're everything. We're Judeo-Christian, so we believe in God. The first commandment says, "Do not kill."
Jailhouse needs help. He's got a sickness in his mind.
He is sick, and another thing that came up in the meeting was that cops have PTSD.
Couldn't that one person ruin Sonoma County?
PTSD. He
Give him
had
some
2
professional
tours of
help.
duty in Iraq. 2 tours of duty in Iraq.
Do you think maybe Galehouse had PTSD? How many people think Galehouse had PTSD?
Well, I think he needs professional help.
He's for sure. He would have PTSD.
Because God loves us all. We are all God's children. It doesn't matter what color we are. The Lord above loves us all. And we have to fight for Sonoma County. Look how beautiful this county is. People come to visit here from far away. And for one person, that person can get, he can get professional help. And he's got to go to jail because he took a child's life. We have to have justice done for Sonoma County. People are not going to want to come over here to visit anymore. That's not good. Sonoma County is so beautiful. You know? That's what really hurts us all. Because Sonoma County is so beautiful.
And not only that, but there are 52 killings.
And this is a little boy right here. Look, he's a little boy. We're all God's angels. He loves us all. We've got to fight for Sonoma County. That guy needs help. Galehouse needs help. And he needs to go to jail for what he did. Because we're going to continue.
For treason.
If there's no justice, we're going to continue. It's not going to stop today. The sheriff thinks it's going to stop, that this is the last thing. We're not going to stop till we see Galehouse in jail and then in prison. Because what he did was wrong.
And anybody that's hiding him, covering up.
They're accomplices. We have to fight for Sonoma County. It's so beautiful.
All the rapists need to go to jail. This was a boy that was
little
shot
boy.
in the back.
Various times, man. Various times.
He did not have time to turn around.
When the first shot, he fell down.
Shot in the back.
But he continued.
Shot in the back 7 times.
You know, the little boy fell down, but he continued. That's, wow. That's pretty thick.
No,
pretty thick.
Shot in the back 7 times, it's murder.
And then he handcuffed him still? That's pretty thick. Very thick.
Nobody's remembering that the boy was shot 7 times in the back.
And in the handcuffs still. You know, that's not right.
We have a woman, this is a woman who is in here. She lost her son to police violence, and she was one of the people speaking.
And the way that this board was supervised, all of you were connected to the funding mechanism.
I tried to teach you I can't help it.
Today, in the process of litigation, the first step is to file the actual lawsuit. The court issues a summons, and it gives you jurisdiction over the parties. And to bring the parties into the litigation, you have to actually personally serve the lawsuit. And it's not just a symbolic one, it's a very technical one. I'm not going to have to go back to the court with a declaration of rights and say, on this day, at this location, I serve this party. The court now has jurisdiction over the county. Sometime today, I understand different jail houses also serve. So the court now has jurisdiction over him. On February 6th, the court will have the first steps. The court's going to want to discover, find out what the issues are, what are the stumbling blocks. The court's going to want to know when we want to direct this to trial. In other words, the schedule of events. My goal is to get this to trial in front of a jury.
So why is this is something that is this true or is it? And so I was
the technical aspects of the lawsuit, there's federal claims, constitutional claims. The Constitution is free involved for land. I can sue the government on state law claims are very different. They require a 2-step process. First, I've got to give the county notice. As soon as the family hired me, I gave them written notice of our intention to sue them for negligence or wrongful death. And I had to wait 45 days. 45 days lapsed on December 16th. So we took a federal complaint, we hadn't served it yet, we amended the state law claims, wrongful death, and punitive damages claim. And now we have one lawsuit in federal court with all of them. They all arise out of the same circumstances. And now we are going to litigate. And today was the first formal step. They now have it. They now know what the allegations are. They have 30 days to answer. It'll be in front of the court. And it's all.
So, and what are you hoping? How would this satisfactorily resolve?
It wouldn't. The reason this lawsuit was filed as soon as it was, I think it was 3 days after the shooting, representatives from the Sheriff's Department stood in front of the media, the public, and compared the toy gun with an AK-47. And they said, look, it was reasonable for Andy Lopez to die. It was Andy Lopez's That was the message. That was the message. They said it was reasonable for Deputy Gelhaus to believe that it was a real gun. And Andy's actions claiming that justified the reason we're bringing this lawsuit is because the it was reasonable to shoot Andy, that the force was not excessive, that we know they've made that conclusion. There's no reason to believe. The criminal investigation, when they put forth this written documentation of their investigation in front of the district attorney, I suspect she is going to
Don't pass the buck to the city, and then the city back to the county, and the county back to the state. That's a bunch of garbage.
the only just, the only real judge, Gelhaus is in front of the federal court in Oakland.
To represent yourself and your peers. I mean, it's like, you know what? I've been going to this room since I was 11 years old. I was a junior commissioner on the status of women. Okay?
Is there any chance that Gelhaus will ever carry a weapon and be on the street?
Assembly,
I expect
state
that.
senate, and then maybe the U.S. Congress. So you're going to protect the
They say that they're going to have the report out by the middle of July. At that point, I expect that he's going to be, the conclusion is going to be shooting is justified. At that point, the internal investigation, okay, might conclude thereafter. And that's internal affairs. It's basically, you know, did he violate any internal policies, any procedures? Did the shooting violate any of the Sonoma County Sheriff's Office rules? And if so, how are we going to discipline him? It's in a criminal proceeding. It is an internal administrative proceeding. Slap on the wrist. Okay, still personnel issue. They may fire him. Doubt it. Okay.
But could they early retire him?
Anything's possible. You know, I mean, if I were the Sheriff's Department, I would distance myself immediately and completely from him. I would. I suspect they're going to do the same. Clearly, there's a conflict between the county and Deputy Gelhaus. I expect that the county, instead of county counsel here, they're going to find private counsel to defend him. Obviously, if there's a jury verdict against him, the county's going to indemnify them. They have to. Okay, his course and scope, in other words, he's carrying his work negligently. No reasonable person, much less a trained police officer like him, who's a firearms expert, would have approached it. It isn't just the shooting itself, it's a question of okay, what are you going to get when you approach somebody from behind? If not, they're going to turn. They come screeching behind him, they yell to him, he turns around. And that they use that act, his turning around, to justify the shooting. The text should completely flawed. That's the allegation.
That would make sense. I mean, the person is going to turn when they're talking, when someone tries to get their attention. Right. Is it possible that through all of this, the way police are trained will change. If we're going to try to get some change out of that, could this prosecution of jailhouse perhaps at least make that aspect of police training change?
The shameful part of this is that jailhouse was the training.
I understand that.
Yeah. And so you'd hope that, you know, the entire department is going to look very closely at how they do their training. If their own training is going to act as negligently as he did here, at the very minimum, grossly negligent, they have some soul searching to do. They really do. I mean, we've got a firearms expert here with us, and she could probably tell us more. But the upshot of it is just that. And I don't mean to be facetious, but how can you not? How can you not? When you look at the community here, I mean, every board of supervisors here, the folks are here. They're passionate. It's a crescendo. Every board member. It's not going to change. It's not going to change.
By not being involved enough in my community, and by not being active enough.
I appreciate you doing what you do.
Yeah, thank you. We'll see. That keeps saying. And your name again?
Vesta, you and I communicated via email. Yeah, the Gazette.
Yes.
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 Yeah, and I want to stay in touch with you.
Thank you. No, absolutely. And we go way back, at least 3 weeks.
2 weeks. Very good.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
What time do you leave?
I've got to get on a plane at about 5:30.
Do you have time for a radio?
And it's my money that bought that gun. It's my money that put bullets in it. And it's my money that paid that salary. I gave you the power to oversee it. And I know now that your attention has been called to that fact, in case you had forgotten, you're going to work on it, aren't you? You're going to address it. Why? Because it is so important that if you don't address it, there's a spark. Very dangerous spark out there if you do not address this matter. One man said something rather nice. I like it. He said, he asked you to go walk in the neighborhoods, go walk in the communities. My card says, I would like to see you have meetings. The full Board of Supervisors have meetings in each one of their districts, not here in your royal dais, in your throne room. I want you to come out to the communities, go out to Roseland, go out to the river, go out to Sonoma, wherever. I want you to come there and not have an agenda where you vote and have motions. I want you to come there and listen. Once a month. Once a month, get off and out of here, out of this city, out of this point of view you have, and get out to your communities again as a full board and start listening to them. Try it. And for all these people who came, you've done well. But you need to do more. You can hear that. Thank you.
After Fred is Cindy Mitchell. After Cindy is Jean.
Actually, Mr. Abbott, I want to correct you. I put an easy name for you to call. My name is actually Jim Severdia, S-E-V-E-R-D-I-A. I just didn't want you to have.
I appreciate that.
Okay, no problem. I'm 62 years old, and I've lived in this county pretty much all my life. I live within about a mile of where Andy was killed. I'm in Shirley Zane's district. And to me, it looks like, from what I've seen, that definitely Officer Gelhaus decided that he would react in some kind of militaristic manner that he'd been trained in, and he would do what he did. And the sad part that I think about that is that just makes me feel like I'm an enemy, because I can't speak Spanish very well, but one thing I will say is that todos somos Andy Lopez. We are all Andy Lopez. I live about a mile, as I say, from where that occurred. And over the years, I have noticed that where I live, I don't get two-car sheriff patrols coming, or two police officer patrols coming down my street. They're just single officer patrols all the time. Whenever there's a problem over in Moreland, it seems like Henry 1 is always up in the air, cruising around my house. It's like I'm listening to the buzz of that. And the day that Andy was killed, I heard that. I heard the sirens. I heard Henry 1 right over me going round and round like, we're going to get ready for something big. What the heck happened over there? A little kid got killed and we have to send up the entire Air Force? The Sonoma County Air Force? I mean, the whole thing is militarization. It is becoming militarization. It's becoming more and more militaristic every day. And the final thing I want to say, I don't want to take a lot of time here because I know there's a lot of people that said much better stuff than I, but if you guys don't get control of your law enforcement, it will get control of you.
Uncontrollable like Oakland.
Cindy Mitchell?
It's on the verge like Oakland.
Is Cindy Mitchell here?
Hey, no, but somebody else can take it.
Jean Mary Kropsky?
Beautiful Sonoma County. It's on the verge, just looking like
Ethan Oliver?
I have a card.
Deborah Tavares? No, I didn't call that name. Sorry. I didn't call that name. Deborah Tavares?
We would like to hear what Ethan Oliver has to say. Thank you, Ethan. We would like to hear Ethan Oliver speak.
I appreciate that you filled the card out. I put out the order that I received it.
Thank you.
It's Deborah Tavares.
I think it's really important. People are
I would like to hear what Ethan Oliver has to say. Thank you.
Go
ahead, Ethan. We'd like to hear what you got to say.
Oh, this is
I appreciate your.
Mr. Rabbit, I got one especially the effort. You remember me very correctly.
I put my card in
the come around. I know you from a while back. And from your words, what you told me, bro, is that you were going to make this community safer from our law enforcement, from police brutality. But I haven't seen that. When you first started to run for freaking council, and that's bullshit, you know what I mean? I know these cops got something to do, I know they got a job, but man, do it right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, do it right!
And I get nothing but police brutality. Every day, ever since it's happened, these cops want to sit there and tell me they want to beat me up. Find charges put against me because I stood up over this little boy that I watched grow up in my neighborhood. You know what I mean? This ain't right. If you guys sit there and say you're the council for our community, then why isn't it nothing getting taken care of? Why is everything just be like, okay, this is a little Chicano kid. Who cares? Say he's a gang member because he grew up in this neighborhood. But he's not. I knew him very well. He had goals in life. Now he ain't going to see those goals. Because the cop wanted to take excessive force and not think before he acted.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say for real though. You know what I mean? Because I'm a community in my community. You know what I mean? I stand up every day. This happened in front of my house, right across the street. I had to see it.
Praise the Lord.
And that ain't right. This little boy will never see the goals that he had set.
Nope.
This could, like everyone else said, this could have been your kid. You guys need to take that in mind.
Patrick?
Really take it in mind. Soak it up.
Is that his name?
Patrick, is that his name?
What if this could have been my son? What if this could have been my son? Because he was walking around the neighborhood. It could have been your kids going to a school in that neighborhood, walking with his friends. And the cops want to think he's a gang member because he's in that neighborhood.
Wow.
So Efren, what I gotta say, and I really hope to see it, bro, because you told me back when you started in 2007, if I believe, that your goal is to make sure these neighborhoods are safe from the cops of brutality and safer for us and taken care of. But I still haven't seen it. I haven't seen nothing. But these cops want to go around harassing people. Okay, I know I made mistakes in life. I'm still a father, I'm still a human
We all
being.
make mistakes.
So until then, these cops need to realize, until they really got something on somebody, then do your job. Don't just mess with people because they know something about them or they just don't like them because of the neighborhood or where they come from, or their ethnicity. It ain't right. And I don't like seeing it. My grandmother almost had a heart attack over watching that little boy shot 7 times. She had to go to the hospital because she couldn't take it. She can't even go to her kitchen. She can't go anywhere. She don't want to move anywhere with the windows because everywhere our windows look, it's right there at the memorial. And it reminds her of watching that little boy drop dead because the cop wanted to shoot him because he thought he was a gang member in that neighborhood.
Yep.
So that's all I got to say. And I hope that something's done and justice is brought to Aaron and his family. Thank you.
Hello, folks. My name is Dwayne DeWitt, and I'm from Roseland. You know that I come here to talk about good things and try to do some positive stuff. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak today, and also reference a time I came here back in July to talk about a park possibility along Hearn Avenue next to Southwest Community Park. And that land is still there and is still available. And it could possibly be a place that if the county were to work with the Sonoma County Agricultural Preservation and Open Space District to get the $300,000 funding for that piece of land, and then it could be molded into the Southwest Community Park that Santa Rosa has, and the Dutton Meadow School, which is a part of the Bellevue School District. And I'm here because I believe that you folks can do this, and that's a positive thing. I didn't know that this other stuff was happening today. Usually I pay a lot of attention to things, but I was dealing with an issue down in the Bay Area. What I'd like to ask you about is the opportunity to work with the City of Santa Rosa, which is seeking to get money from the Sonoma County Transportation Authority, which is money coming from the federal government to deal with what's called a priority development area of Sebastopol Road and the Roseland District. I was the paper boy on Sebastopol Road when I was young, and I can understand a lot of the concerns that people are voicing. I don't think I've ever seen as emotional a meeting as I have today, and I want to thank you folks that you've been as kind and considerate of the time limit and the other things that go on. I haven't seen hardly any of these other people here before, and as you know, you see me, and I know that you're the kind of folks that like to run a tight ship, and I often hear, "Thank you, Mr. DeWitt, your 3 minutes are up." So I just wanted to say that during these difficult times, a nice place to relax can help. Parks.
Thank you, Dwayne. Thomas Marabito.
Hello, Thomas Morabito, Sebastopol. Every day that Mr. Carrillo sits in that chair, the Board of Supervisors loses respect of the community. It's laughable that the Board of Supervisors believes it can restore the trust of the people in Sonoma County law enforcement when the people, rightly so, do not trust the Board of Supervisors. Sonoma County blew it on the very first protest demonstration when they greeted 200 peaceful students with riot gear and snipers on the roofs. Instead of welcoming them in their regular uniforms, perhaps with some tables and chairs set up to discuss a tragic situation that affected the sheriffs as much as it affected the community. At least I hope it affected them. I would also like to know if Sonoma County has actually put a man on the streets with a weapon who is still under investigation for possible murder. Is this man armed? As I understand it, if you're on duty and you're a police officer, you are armed.
Feel free to answer that question. Answer the question.
Is he armed?
Would you like to answer that question? Does anybody know the answer?
Answer the question.
Do they know? They should know.
I knew there was a problem as I walked to this meeting today. I got here about 12:30. As I'm walking up to the building, I passed two sheriffs who were standing outside. And just, as you pass somebody being polite, I said, "Good morning, guys." And they just looked at me behind their sunglasses and would not even acknowledge me. I mean, why would a sheriff for a deputy not acknowledge a member of the community?
Because you're the enemy. You're the enemy.
Maybe I am the enemy, I don't know. Another upsetting thing is this article in the PD about $250,000 spent for security for the protest. Who are we blaming for this? Do we want to blame Andy for getting in the way of 7 bullets? Every penny of that money can be charged to Galhouse's actions.
Yes.
That's why the last thing is I'd like to make a suggestion. I'd like Sonoma County to create something like a Yelp site for law enforcement. Why can't we have a site with a picture of every law enforcement officer, their name, their badge number, which is all public information. I mean, we do this to find out where the best hamburgers are, or the best cup of coffee. Well, maybe when somebody gets stopped by a police officer, they'll have a place to go to comment on how that took place, even a traffic stop. And what I think that would do is it would create a much politer situation between the police and the community.
If you could wrap it up, Thomas, appreciate it.
Wrapped up? I'm wrapped up. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Teresa Mary Schultz.
Come on, Robbie.
Lynette Kronik. Is Lynette here? Lou Treboros.
Gone.
Elizabeth Nyland.
That's Leland.
Nealon, sorry about that.
No worries. It's a married name.
I think it was Irish anyway. Oh God. Lowering it? Is that the way to do it? I don't know. Anyway, hey. Well, I'm glad I came, and nice to see all of you. Who being loved is poor, Oscar Wilde. Apparently, a poor kid isn't very valuable to the ruling class. And I think this killer, keep it simple, did not know that this was not a poor boy. This was a very, very wealthy boy who was loved by many, many people. And there's a quotation here: love doesn't sit there like a stone, but it has to be made like bread and remade all the time. It has to be made new. And because Andy has left us, the love is not gone. It has not gone anywhere. And it will be made new. It is better to travel hopefully than to arrive. And we are, as a people, traveling hopefully. We live under a brutal and exploitive ruling class. I don't know why we took over the Caribbean, really. I mean, because we have just made a mess of the Caribbean. And what is going on in Guantanamo Bay? I met a man who had been there. There's apparently a long Navy base on which you can stand on a high piece and see where the prisoners are. They're not in the Navy base or in a separate place. You can see where these people, we don't belong in Cuba. We don't belong in the Caribbean. We don't belong there. Okay, let's see what else I have to say here. Let us not let what we cannot do interfere with what we can do. And apparently you have been remiss, I mean gravely remiss, in implementing these certain measures of civil rights here in this rural place, this beautiful place. I mean, Sonoma County, I've lived here 40 years. Charlie Brown's home, and a good place to be. There are no unimportant jobs, there are no unimportant people and there are no unimportant acts of kindness. Now, kindness was the last thing on dear Officer Galhaus's mind, and I'd like to know what was on his mind. I'd like to know that there would be a public trial, and if he is guilty of manslaughter, which I do believe he most certainly is, maybe it was second-degree murder. I don't know what he's guilty of, but I don't want him working for me anymore.
Elizabeth, you can wrap it up.
Oh, okay. Let's see if I can wrap it up. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not, genius will not, education will not. Persistence and determination alone are all powerful. And we will have justice for this young man.
Mary Morrison. Is Mary Morrison here? After Mary Morrison is Michelle Miller. After Michelle Miller is Rich Hannon.
Hi, I looked at the Board of Supervisors website today when I was coming here, and it says that the 2013 responsibilities for the Board of Supervisors includes road service, road construction, law enforcement, the water department. So law enforcement is included in your responsibilities, the budget. And that means that you have considerable power. From what I understand, money talks. Okay, 9/11 collapse lies. The collapse lie number 1. 108 martial law authorizing traders in the 113th Congress. Our unaffordable health care insurance scamming president. 2 governors of the $2,240 billion congressionally robbed state of 743 martial law 107243 lynched, and 493 other dead Californians. The former California Attorney General, former California Supreme Court Chief Justice, former presiding judge of Sonoma County, 4 current and 3 former Sonoma County supervisors, the current and former sheriffs of the $2,390 million congressionally robbed county of Sonoma, and the Willie Brown-stained media all treasonously tried to hide the truth about 2,752 murders during the controlled demolitions of the Twin Towers on 9/11. But the cover isn't working. There are no longer blood debt dollars deceptively flowing from Congress to maintain the cover-up of 2,985 unplanned murders on 9/11. That is because no member of Congress is stupid enough to raise our national debt to maintain lies. The lack of public blood debt hush money, and a traitor's fear of a death sentence from courts of constitutional law are working in favor of we the congressionally betrayed and deceived people. Number 2, any Californian who owes allegiance to the state and conceals the truth about 2,985 unplanned murders on 9/11 gives aid and comfort to enemies of the state and commits treason in violation of California Penal Code Section 37. Consequently, he or she is right for a death penalty in any California court of constitutional law. Such traitors, including judges, deserve a public hanging. Number 3, any Californian who conceals the truth about 2,985 unplanned murders on 9/11 gives aid and comfort to enemies of the state and commits misprision of treason in violation of California Penal Code Section 38. Such felons deserve life sentences without the possibility of parole from any California court of constitutional law. Part of we the congressionally betrayed people's problem is finding state courts that administer justice according to supreme law in the Constitution without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Michelle Miller.
Hello? Since October 16, 2002, California courts have ruled as phantom Governor Willie Brown determines to be necessary under Section 3A of Martial Law 107-243, Exhibit A attached. Item 5, tomorrow, January 8th, 2014, the Brown-Stained California Superior Court in Sonoma County starts this new year under a 4-year overdue new presiding judge. Previous presiding judge, Rene Chateau, was a documented judicial traitor who was ripe for removal from office by the California Commission on Judicial Performance and treason charges by no-nonsense constitutionalist California Attorney General Kamala Harris. If new presiding judge, Honorable Kenneth Noce, is a constitutionalist, the California Superior Court in Sonoma County will administer constitutional law without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, as we, the congressionally betrayed and 2.39 billion congressionally swindled taxpayers of Sonoma County, will finally get justice. Item 6, the Willie Brown Stained. California's phantom governor, the grand intimidator, Willie Brown, who was the top planned benefactor of 9/11, intimidates elected public officers, judges, media editors, and nonprofits as he determines to be necessary under Section 3A of democracy-ending martial law 107-243. But wizard of deception Willie and his brown, green, gay, Chinese wine, war, religion, gambling, and sex machine protection racket can no longer control growing taxpayer outrage against using trillions of congressionally confiscated tax dollars. A, to hide the truth about 2,985 murders caused by Enron puppet, attempted wife killer George Warmonger Bush, leaving his wife to be a sitting duck in the White House to be an unplanned victim of the Enron-sponsored Exhibit B organized crimes on 9/11, aided by first companion Hoover Fellow Condoleezza Rice. Or B, to squander more trillions of blood debt funding, more mass murder, and world terrorism in unconstitutional wars for warmongering sponsors and fascist gain. 599 unplanned murders. Item 7. The following real-time images, Exhibit C, document 599, deliberately unsolved New York murders resulting from the controlled demolition of the South Tower. Thank you.
Thank you. Rich Hannon. After Rich Hannon, John Jekyll.
Good afternoon. 7. The following real-time images, Exhibit C, document 599, deliberately unsolved New York murders resulting from the controlled demolition of the South Tower by the World Trade Center principal Larry Silverstein. They're part of 2,985 unplanned murders during the Enron-sponsored Exhibit B, Ken Lay plan, and Bush-botched organized crimes, attempted assassinations, and insurance scams on 9/11 that are concealed to this day by 108 traitors in the 113th Congress. Our unaffordable health care insurance scamming president, 2 governors of the 2,240 billion congressionally robbed state 743 martial law 107-243 lynched, and 493 other dead Californians. The former California Attorney General, the former California Supreme Court Chief Justice, the former presiding judge of Sonoma County, 4 current and 3 former Sonoma County supervisors, and the current and former sheriffs of the 2,390 million congressionally robbed county of Sonoma, and the Willie Brown Stained media, all of whom commit treason or misprision of treason and deserve death penalties or life imprisonment under constitutional law. The 9/11 Truth Campaign enlightens the world by circulating these telling images to protect all people from being victims of treason, organized crime, corruption, insurance scams, and fascist gain. 8. These 599 deliberately unsolved New York murders were caused by Enron puppet George W. Bush exploiting his top sponsor's plan for 9/11 by trying to return to bachelorhood. Bad boy born again Bush skipped town and left his former librarian wife in the White House on 9/11 with planned targets. Enron energy czar Dick Cheney and his VP staff from Halliburton. 9. Laura Bush had been booked to launch her quote, read, don't watch, unquote, campaign at Emerson C. Booker Elementary School in Florida on September 11, 2002, for weeks. This all-black sideshow was designed by Bush's handlers to help boost his sinking second-grade popularity. At the last minute, our First Lady decided to let the cheating bastard sink. Our angry First Lady had no clue that the West Wing of the White House could beat her death trap the next morning. 10. Saving our First Lady from her husband's treachery, aided by companion Hoover fellow Condoleezza Rice, and to destroy evidence of presidential attempted wife killing to prevent scandal, caused 2,985 unplanned murders on 9/11. 11. The 2,985 deliberately unsolved murders on 9/11 were exploited by warmongering sponsors of Congress to justify invading Afghanistan with 65,000 troops in Operation Essential Harvest, who had been brought into the Middle East between September 1st through September 10th, 2001. A, to build an energy pipeline in Afghanistan, quoting Associated Press, Delvin Parrott in Exhibit B, through sacred Hindu Kush mountains for 9/11 planner Ken Lay, Enron, and Communist China. Thank you.
John Jankel.
I'm John Jankel from Brayton, here to get even with you. The 2,985 deliberately unsolved murders on 9/11 were exploited by warmongers to justify invading Afghanistan, to build an energy pipeline in Afghanistan, B, to gain CIA control of heroin production in Afghanistan, and C, to kill indigenous nature lovers and non-believers of God for fascist gain. 12. The 2,985 deliberately unsolved murders on 9/11 were also exploited to justify invading Iraq, to stop Saddam Hussein from selling Iraqi oil for Eurodollars, and to kill, quote, all them Muslims who killed 3,000 Americans on 9/11 for more fascist gain. All the West Wing occupants faced certain death on 9/11, had on-time Al-Qaeda Marine Battalion suicide bombers hijacked United Airlines Flight 93, crash-landed into the West Wing in a surprise attack as planned, while NORAD F-16 interceptors that have been normally 24/7 locked and cocked to aid hijacked airliners stood down under Enron investor Secretary of Defense Donald Everybody Duck Rumsfeld. You have this information. It's been copied and your clerks have it to you. And it also shows that the main photographs of the demolitions of the of the South Tower. I've got an equal document coming up that talks about the North Tower, and another document coming up that talks about the U.S. Air Force attacking the U.S. Navy on 9/11. All of this stuff are lies. Excuse me, all of this stuff is covered up by lies by Congress. And we can't afford it anymore. The very same people you go back there and collect your nickels and dimes from are the same people who squandered $3.49 million, who squandered, excuse me, let me get the right figure here, $2,390 million from Sonoma County taxpayers. And we are wising up, and we are holding all of you accountable. And we fortunately have a good judge coming on the job tomorrow morning, and we're going to go to town. Thank you for listening.
Christine Healy. Christine Healy. Colleen. I'm going to go a year without butchering the last name by going Colleen, if that's okay.
But you did get it right before, so I know you can again.
Then I think about it too much and I blow it.
So I want to stay on track right now. My comments are in honor of Andy Lopez and to my daughter, Charlotte Molinari. Someone said the death of Andy Lopez was predictable. I would say it's completely avoidable, preventable death. Because we came here and told you over 10 years ago, this body, members of city councils, that Public Law 107-243 was exactly what enabled this militarization of our police force, our law enforcement, our sheriff's deputies. Because we want to trust you. We want to know that you're going to be leading in an honorable way. So Andy Lopez died because of overuse of force. My daughter Charlotte died because of no use of force. 4 felonies committed by her father. No use of force of the laws by Sonoma County Superior Court Judge Chateau, Bertoli, D.A. Ravage, Child Protective Services. No use of force. This mirror that I brought today was a gift I gave to my daughter. Here's a picture of Charlotte, who's never going to see another Christmas or Andy Lopez. But I tell you, the solution to all of your problems is right here. Constitution for the United States of America.
Thank you.
And the Constitution for California. New year, new opportunity to comply with your oath of office to uphold and defend the constitutions of California and the United States of America. All of you who swore that oath, you have the same opportunity. Undeclared, unconstitutional wars of choice are not healthy for children and other living things. Not to mention the unaffordable, when our nation is around $17 trillion in unfunded debt. You know, trying to get it out of our pockets to pave your roads, raising the fees of driver's license, that's not going to solve the problem. The vast majority of the problems in your jurisdiction can be corrected by each elected body working in concert to end the worldwide declaration of martial law enacted in 2003 with the signing of Public Law 107-243 and the death of due process for all. Justice for Andy Lopez, Charlotte Molinari, John Jenkel, and those seeking to assist the work to propel the enforcement of our states' and nation's constitutions begins with a resolution from this public body, tasked to serve we the people, not organized crime, by elected officials, by law enforcement, by the military and judicial systems, instead of being used by the corruptive influence reigning over you in every choice, directing finances, power, policies. Let this be the year that your legacy will turn a corner. And constitutional integrity will rule your ability to honor your oath of office and how you live each day. So I'm going to leave with you, wrapping this up, headlines about phone data collection okayed by secretive U.S. spy court. Unconstitutional. Oh, the gains we made in Iraq are crumbling. How much money did that cost us? Afghanistan's hunger crisis worsening after how many trillions in money? Oh, and this one in particular. The resolution for Congress, wouldn't it be nice if New Year's resolutions, all U.S. senators and House members, and you too, would resolve, I put my country first, constituency second, political party third, and self last, instead of the other way around, a letter from Hank Menthing. I'd say, put this Constitution first, and all your problems will be solved. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Montana Baba? Montana? Bets Miller?
Yes. Do disabled people sit
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. I'm Bets Miller. I live across the street from Annadel State Park, and I'm happy to say I spoke to 4 individuals in uniform on the way in, wished them a Happy New Year. They asked and their regards for me as well. It was very pleasant. I'd like to do just a small survey while I'm speaking. If you consider yourself primarily a resident of Sonoma County, would you raise your hand? And the board as well, if you wouldn't mind. If you are over 50 years old, would you keep your hand raised?
How come Shirley's not raising her hand?
If you don't have brown eyes, keep your hand up. If you are disabled, keep your hand up. If you own your own home, keep your hand up. If you don't have a mortgage, keep your hand up. If your family on both sides has been here since before 1635. So I think there's a few of us who perhaps also, if you pay off all your credit cards every month, a few of us are here. The things I would like the board to consider is in regards to peace officers, law enforcement, to consider their training and perhaps to promote those who did not serve in the military but gained their training through higher education, who do not advocate their children playing with guns under any circumstances. These are deadly weapons we should not aspire to. And to have better training. I think those in uniform here, I don't know if they were the individuals I spoke to earlier, they want to do their best job for all of us. And you can do your best job by giving them the guidance that we count on each of you to do on our behalf, and perhaps to eliminate from service those individuals who do not hold life in the highest regard. Thank you.
Thank you. Vicki Caroline? Is Vicki here? And Sabrina, is it Kraus?
Hello. I didn't prepare a statement. I wasn't even sure I was going to be able to speak because I got here late because I have to take care of my family. I'm a Sonoma County resident with children. I have grandchildren. And I'm here in support of Andy Lopez and his family and the unjust killing that happened to him. It really scares me and disturbs me because I've had experiences with my I've had experiences with my own son having I felt racial profiling in another town here in Sonoma County, and my kids are of color, and I've felt that my daughters also had an experience with officers, not necessarily a sheriff, whatever, but it's really something that scares and bothers me that this is happening in the neighborhoods where there are more poor people and people of color, especially where Andy Lopez lived. It's just not right. I feel like I'm not talking very well because I'm not prepared. I'm always nervous like this on the podium, but basically I want to say that I just feel that there needs to be justice served, and there has not been justice served. I feel like it's really a slap in the face that jailhouse was put back to work in 2 months after. Everywhere else you hear a police officer has to have at least 6 months leave of absence. Everywhere you hear that. And 2 months, I was shocked, especially with all this going on, with everyone so upset, and now a lawsuit's going to be filed against him. I mean, putting him back to work, it's just wrong. And the fact that he said he was so scared for his life, it doesn't make sense. I mean, fire department guys are scared for their life when there's a house burning. Do they not jump in the fire burning house to take care of the people inside? An officer should be more of a hero. They should be a peace officer, not a brutal person who wants to jump out fearing for their life all the time. Oh, he might have an AK-47 or something like that. When it's obviously a child, I mean, anyone could see it was a child. I know some people differ in opinion, but I think most people agree that he was a child. And he looked like a child, and it was totally wrong, absolutely wrong that he was killed like that, and he needs to be punished for it, or answer up to it somehow. Not working as a police officer any longer, and I agree that there shouldn't be people who have been at war recently going to become police officers. It's not a good job for them to have to do when they've had so much stress with killing people and whatnot in the past. They need to do something that's more calm and peaceful. Police officers should be people who are educated, calm, and maybe not having been in war in the past, so that they know that for sure they're cool, calm, and collected. So that's it. It's read, and I wish I would have had time to prepare a better statement.
Thank you. That is the last public comment card I have. I'm going to close the public comment. I appreciate for those that are here for your participation. We actually we do appreciate your participation, your respectfulness of the process and governance and democracy in action right before you. We are going to recess to continue our closed session. We will come out to report out of closed session afterwards and actually take the acts and determinations at that particular time. So thank you very much for your patience today, and it was actually good to hear from you.
Are we down here?
Okay, so that seems like about it for the day, except I am going to turn that sign right side up. And then I think what I may do is, because it is it's hella traffic hour right now, so it's going to take me a very, very long time to go home. I think I might just take my time to go home and maybe stop over at the memorial. I may live stream from over there for just a few minutes. I know there will be candles lit and everything like that.
Headed back off?
Yeah, I think, how you doing? I think I'm gonna take my time though. I don't know, I think I may stop over at the memorial because the sun's going down. I wanted to get some pictures with the candles.
The traffic will be...
So yeah, so I mean, I'm not gonna be home until 9 o'clock anyway, so I'm just gonna
what I was gonna suggest,
swing by there.
Do you want to have dinner at Lolo's Market afterwards?
Oh, where is that?
It's right on Sebastopol and Dutton.
Oh, quite possibly. I might do that.
I'll travel with you, or
actually, well, I'm not sure exactly. I've got to go back live now because I just went down.
You can't leave without saying bye.
I did. I said, I'll see you guys. I'll let you listen.
I didn't hear.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But yeah, I have to finish up my stream here. Okay.
Scott,
Okay, so anyway, guys, if you can hear me, I got knocked offline, of course. So I am going to be taking off from here, but I think I will be stopping by the memorial, quite possibly. I want to get a couple of shots over there of the newly constructed memorial.
Where's my cards?
I wasn't able to stream it long enough the other day because of all the issues I had with connectivity. For you guys to see it completed and with the candles going and everything. So I think I'm going to swing by there and then make a long journey home. Going to kind of wait until rush hour is done. I'm not going to be leaving here at any rate. Like, I don't know, I'm probably going to try to hang around for an hour or two. So I think I am going to be going over to the memorial, and I may stream for maybe 15 minutes over there just so you guys can see it, the newly built one, and other than that, I'll be out of here. But thank you everybody for restreaming me and for mirroring me. I really appreciate it. As you guys know, by now, this is something that's really important to me, and I'm really and I really think that it's very important all over the world anyway. And we heard people saying in there even that this is an international scenario, and it's just that it hasn't dawned on Santa Rosa yet that this is a much bigger thing than them. So I'd like you guys to, if you can, just keep it up with telephone calls and tweets and emails to all the people in Santa Rosa and Board of Supervisors. And just get these people off their ass for the jailhouse and jail. Jailhouse for jailhouse. This is what we all want. The guy needs to go to jail. And yeah, so thank you very much, everybody. And I may or may not come up just for a little bit in about 30 or 45 minutes. And we'll see how that goes. In the end, I mean, I'm still going to get some high-def footage of the finished memorial.
Hey, guy.
How you doing?
Busy filming. I don't want to disturb you, but I'd love to.
I'm signing off right now, so okay, everybody, thank you, and peace, love, and solidarity. Treboros out, and I'll be talking to you all soon. Excuse me?
Are you going to put it out there for people to see what you filmed?
Oh, it was live. Plus, I'm backing it up HD.
Okay. So
yeah.
how do we contact you?